Let's go in this morning. Let's go in this morning. What's happening, folks? As you know, I'm live, so gotta let the live stream catch up. And or the algorithm catch up and let the folks come in. As you know, we stream. Bonjour, Lola. How you doing this rising? How you doing? Up early. Yeah, I figured, I might do a lot more of these in the mornings. This may seem a little selfish. Well, one, I'm always up in the morning. I'm up 4 o'clock every day. Clockwork, like clockwork. But also, um, not a lot of people go live that early. So when I do go live, I seem to sometimes tend to get a lot of new folks scrolling around the lives to see who the hell they can just join to listen to something real quick. I do the same thing. So I'm like, I might do more of these, man, because I am up and I am learning. It's like real time learning. And I definitely want to go over this about what I found. I knew when I was thinking about it that I found it and knew what this was, but or after I found that these newspaper articles, this would be the first district or thing in the church system that I thought about. And what's funny is I never knew much about it. I knew about the East Zion district because I've heard the name all the time, sometimes in church. In the church announcements, you'd hear about it. Um, I never knew what it was. They don't explain what the East Zion district is typically, even though you was at church all those years. But one thing that never got away from me is I had a talk with my aunt, and my aunt was like, um, I was kind of going back and forth about the religion because I was like, or really about the church, because I was like, how are y'all taking all this money from the people? I was looking up the building funds. I was like, all of y'all done had y'all buildings paid off. Why is there a building fund? And I was talking all kind of shit. This was some years ago, like 15 some years ago. I was just learning into the Masons. I was just like really diving deep on some of these topics and starting to get mad. And I found out that my pastor was a Mason. He had a Mason hat in his office and all this other shit. That's a long story, but so at this time I'm arguing with my aunt about this because I'm like, okay, you know, what's up with this religion? And she had blurted out something that I'll never forget, and I still haven't forgot it. And that's what's got me on their ass today, which is she said when I was talking about what all is the church doing with the people's money, because it's wrong what y'all doing with these people's money out here. That was the topic, and she was like, "Well, you don't understand, Sam. You don't understand." She said, we have all these things we have to pay for every month. You got this you got to pay for. You got the Ezine district is $10,000 a month. You got this. I said, wait a minute. Wait. What the hell is y'all paying $10,000 a month to an East Side district for? Never have I forgot about them since then. And now I'll finally get to see and show you what the fuck a East Side district is through language. They put it in your face. You just don't understand it. We don't. I didn't. For years, it took me, you could say it almost took me 20 years to figure it out. I knew it was these people. Well, they was a step in that direction. What up, DJZ? What up, Crew White? Yeah, I knew it was a step in the right direction. As y'all can see, your boy silhouetted so I can smoke and not have to look already in the morning, but I don't look crazy. But so now we get to figure out what is a East Zion district. What is a district? What is a district? The only way I decided to figure it out was as funny is by figuring out what a district is. What up, Jim Dropper? I'm up early with it. Up early with it. So yeah, so I'm I get to come back and notice it says 105 years of mission. Ain't that ain't that convenient? Now the East Zion district is like, for those who don't know, the East Zion district is like a association that all the churches or church pastors pay to be in. So they say they pay to be in it, or are they obligated to pay that? Because the East Zion district is a man. Oh, it's like it says it's a fellowship of pastors pretty much coming together, and then they help to disseminate. I'll show you. They help to the East Zion district is consolidated district of a self-governing fellowship of autonomous churches sharing a common faith together in ministry. All of the churches that comprise this association are free, independent, self governing, and autonomous, who voluntarily decide to associate themselves to do a greater ministry by this association. So we're going to break that down. What the fuck is that? Say, can't say. I'm going to switch it over to here, especially since I'm silhouetted. Hold on. Okay. So the East Zion, I want to look up what consolidated is, but the East Zion Consolidated District, even though, we believe we know what consolidated means, it's always good to look it up. What's up, I am my ancestors? Say you can't see it. Can y'all see it? It might have been when I didn't have it zoomed in that y'all was saying that. Oh, you say you good now? Okay, appreciate that. Keith Larry, what's happening? So the East Zion District is a self-governing fellow. Look, man, real quick. I hit up Cesare Porter, the guy that has been doing these live streams I told y'all about, who's trying to fight against certain aspects of the corruption of fraternal orders, or you should say frats and sororities in churches. And I gotta give him this information we find there. So okay, let me keep going. My bad. So the Ezon Consolidated District is a self-governing fellowship. So that means that they govern themselves and they fellowship together. People who get together. Let's look up. Said them boule niggas. You already know. You already know. Let me go over here. My bad, I was rolling up. Okay. So let's look up what fellowship is. And that might be simple, but let's just make sure. Fellowship. Okay, yeah, y'all can see it. Companionship. Um, the sense of a body of companions, the meaning of a spirit of comradeship, friendliness, as a state of privilege in English colleges, as a state of privilege in English colleges. Privilege. What do you mean a state of privilege? When somebody is privileged, what would you say? They're rich. They have things given to them. They're kind of privileged. Okay. A state of privilege in English colleges. But you also have, so you have people who are companions, possibly who have a privilege, like white privilege, right? Are we talking about pastor privilege? Okay. To fellowship with is to hold communion with, to unite with in doctrine and discipline. The barbarism now appears this gusting frequency and reports of ecclesiastical conventions and the religious general. Okay, whatever. So we do know what that is. All right. Let's look up what a district is. Well, I want to read the rest of it before I do that because the district is kind of like the key, and I want to give you the key towards the end of this little part right here. So the East Zion Consolidated District is a self-governing fellowship. So it's meaning they're a 501c3 of people who get together who like to be friends and might have a privilege of autonomous churches, churches that govern themselves. They work on their own. They all have their own 501c3. Otherwise, the East Zion District would be the head 501c3, and they would be sisters or sister companies of it in a sense. All of these churches that comprise this association are free, independent, self-governing, and autonomous. They're kind of driving that point home. They're trying to let you know, hey, these churches are free to do what they want to do, basically. Y'all free to do what you want to do. You don't have to be part of anything of this East Zion district if you don't want to. Of course, they're going to continue to do it because y'all beat it in their head and they was forced into it at an earlier time and period, right? But right now it's saying, hey, no, these people are free, they good, they can do what they want. Okay. It says who, because why did I say that? Because who voluntarily, didn't I just say that? Yeah, these people are free. Yeah, they're free. They their own churches, they do their own thing, and they voluntarily decide to associate themselves to do a greater ministry by the association. Do y'all remember when the church went around asking you if you wanted to be part of the East Zion district and took a vote? I don't remember them asking my ass. Huh. That's funny. That's pretty funny. Huh. I guess the only certain people get to make that decision. Hold on, let me grab my lighter. I guess only certain people get to make that decision. What's up, Jeremiah Bless? He said Fellowship Church Law. Yep. What's up, all the folks here that's coming in? Adrian, what's happening? You two folks, what's happening? So you'll catch me in the mornings more often here on the good setup. I'm gonna be doing this. Not every morning, but I don't have anything to do right now until a few hours. Oh man, you can see that. Oh, sorry, TikTok. Uh that's why I got to silhouette it. I guess I can do that over here. You can't see the smoke. Okay, so as we're getting to it, a district of a self-governing fellowship of people, whatever, right? And we are voluntarily as church folks, according to them, decide to be part of this district. That's why I said it seems like they're trying to nail that in. It says the association, the object of this association shall be to execute measures for the spread of the gospel and the support of missions. Huh. Now, if somebody was to ask you what that mission was, you'd probably just say, ain't it spreading the word of Jesus? Eh, well, I think it's funny, like we showed earlier, the Ezon district said, well, I don't want to lose my spot right here, but it said that they've had 102 years of mission work. Hmm. And it was missions that first came here when the Indians was here, right? Didn't the Spanish come up and set up missions in North Carolina or in Florida? I'm sorry, all throughout Florida where there was no Carolina. Carolina came and got settled by other missions, the English missions. You had the Catholic missions. Everybody was on a mission, right? What is a mission? A task, a obstacle, or whatever you want to call it. We might have to look that up. Actually, we'll look up what a mission is. Yeah, let's do that real quick. What is a mission? Instead of going off our brain, I am not one to do that on definitions. Of course, I go off my brain, but I'm still not one to go off my brain. I mean, I go off my brain, but I still like to go off documents, right? My brain is just recalling them documents that I already can't found or whatever. What's up, Fadi? What's up, Adrian? Oh, yeah, I already said what's up, but what up? I just said, what up, Friday? I just not see you say hey. Jeremiah and all of them. Yeah, yeah. This is sinister. But a mission is ascending abroad. Ascending abroad as an agent, originally of Jesuits. Now, this is going to make more sense. Originally of Jesuits from Latin missomium, whatever, act or sending, a dispatching, a release, a setting at liberty, discharge from service, dismissal, noun and active past participle, to release, let go, send, throw. Wow, that's real. That's odd. Release, let go, send, throw. Hmm. You sending somebody abroad originally as an act of dispatching a release. Oh yeah, you send it. So I guess you're sending someone, so you're releasing them, letting them go in a sense, but to throw, to exchange, remove. But some of these things to become hostile, quarrel. He writes the meaning of develop, grow, bestow, let send. Meaning is organized. We'll have to, organize this effort to spread the religion for enlightenment of a community is by 1640s. That was a missionary. That was of a missionary post or station is in 1769. The diplomatic sense of body of person sent to a foreign land on commercial or political business. On commercial, a person sent to a foreign land on commercial or political business. Now, foreign lands at that time in 1729, 1730 in South Carolina would have been Indian territory, right? We got the document that we can go to that says, I should be able to save it like that. Come back to it. Okay. Where's right here? The society, that red part right there, foreign parts. Now we're in South Carolina and they're saying, hey, the Society for Propagating the Gospel in Foreign Parts, having had long been much at heart, having the propagation of the same amongst the Indian and Negroes. What is the mission, y'all? This is the mission. What is the mission? Dealing with these people and making them into one purposely and erasing these people over time. That's the mission. That's what's laid out in this mission, with them talking about foreign parts. Okay, let's go back. So the East Zion district, who has been doing missions for over 102 years, tells you they've been doing what for over 102 years? Spreading his majesty's business in his colony, in the majesty's colonies of America, and trying to propagate that through foreign parts by purchasing some country born Negro, right? Let me read this for those who haven't seen this. The Society for Propagating the Gospel in Foreign Parts, having had much at the heart of the propagation of the same among the Negro and Indian slaves. And Negro and Indian slaves at this time is not Africans, it is melanated looking Indians and melanated looking Europeans. If there at this time any Africans, they would be so few in number that they're barely been mentioned by this time in the books. So those are your Negroes, which is why we have melanated Europeans in our bloodline today. And this is going to make more sense as we go down here further. Okay, it says, in His Majesty's colonies have lately resolved on the following method for purchasing this good in. So they're saying, hey, we just figured out how to pay for this shit. We figured out a way to spread the gospel to the Indian territories outside of South Carolina and we're going to do it just like we did here amongst the melanated Europeans and the melanated Indians that we had, and in our Majesty's colonies in America right now, and only in the South at this time, mostly. And they said, and we've lately resolved of the following method on how to make on how to pay for it. We figured out a way to pay for it. How we've figured out a way to pay for mission work. This is what they're saying. We've figured out a way to pay for mission work. Okay. And how are they gonna what are they gonna do with that money? Well, they say this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna by purchasing some country born Negro. That's in that blue part right here. By purchasing some country born Negro, they're gonna take that money and purchase a country born, not Indian, a country born melanated European. Your Creoles, the ones that came from France. I'm sorry, France. So I won't call them Creoles. I'll call them French, free people. You're French or free. Yeah, Irie or Irish, which I would know. You're mm, was it Irie, Polish, you Scots, you're Scots, you're Moors, basically. Okay. And they're saying they're gonna buy one of these people to start getting rid of these people. What do I mean by that? If they're gonna buy a country born Negro, notice they said we're gonna buy a country born Negro. That's a Negro from another country, right? Who had a baby in the certain country next to you guys that looks like you guys. And now he grew up with you guys. And what do they typically do when they grow up with you? They act like you because you're the coolest. Oh man, y'all do it cool over here, right? And after he acts like you thinking y'all one and the same. You thinking y'all one and the same. But what's gonna happen? They're gonna buy him. They're gonna buy his child to propagate the mission. Hmm. Now you get it. So let's go down. By purchasing some country born Negro, causing them to be instructed to read the Bible and in the chief principles of the Christian religion. At this time, we got another document. It's the Church of England Christian religion. As we talk about His Majesty's colonies up here, which is His Majesty's colony is the King of England. Oh, hold on, y'all. I gotta make a quick thing, but I can do that while I do this. But yeah, so um, they're gonna buy a country-born Negro that acts like you, who went to school with you. Y'all been best friends for life, and now this man's gonna come to you and tell you about the new religion he found. Hey, man, you ever heard of this version of Christianity? Like, we got this really nice church down the street, and they said they're gonna start building more around. They said they're gonna start building more churches around. You may want to check them out, man. It's an amazing experience. You start, oh, you know what? Let me check this out. Let me, you know what? You my nigga and everything. I gotta do this while I'm gonna just kind of joke about as I do this real quick. You my nigga and everything. You know what I'm saying? I fucks with you. Yeah, let me check it out. And then you get in the church and you think if they probably start you off all humble and shit. Oh, how you doing there, brother? Brother Jenkins. Oh, I'm cool, man. I just come to check y'all out. You know what I'm saying? Well, have a seat on that pew. And everything's all nice. You get the little sermon in, and at the end, pastor shaking your hand, telling you how amazing it was to have you there, and we'd love to see you back. We got evening services where we feed you. And so, you feed niggas? You feed niggas. Oh, okay. I might be back. Getting caught up slowly. I'm just playing games, y'all. As I make this little thing happen real fast. I'm almost done. Um, and long story short, it makes it easier to accept at a certain level, and then eventually they start instituting it on a lawful level to where it's crazy. Okay, all right. So it's the purchasing some country-born Negroes, right? Causing them to be instructed to read the Bible and in the chief principles of the Christian religion, and thenceforth employing them under the direction of proper trustees. We're gonna break down what another newspaper did. Oh, we only need two newspapers to prove they hold corruption. To be honest, two newspaper clippings will show this whole system, and then I have other newspaper clippings in between that just kind of galvanize it. But and you're gonna employ this country-born Negro after you teach him all the Christian ways. You're gonna employ him as a schoolmaster, as a schoolmasters. Mm. Like Sunday school, right? Like Sunday school. But back then, you can also your school period was also your work schooling, where they had manual labor schools was also tied in with the church. Uh, and they have a whole thing of separation of church and state, which we think is something what it is. I was just starting to try to look into that this morning. I'm gonna have to look into it even further. I got to get like I'm probably gonna have to look into the newspapers. I was looking up like legislation for separation in church and state. It was kind of, I don't know, all over the place. Um, so I'm gonna try to find something else. Let me. Well, I'm good with the brightness. So okay. So we're gonna employ them as trustees. I can't go too high. Oh, y'all can see that. For the same instruction as all Negro and such Indians. And now notice they and children as may be born in the said colonies. Now notice that. Now notice they put the Indian back in there. They didn't say they was going to purchase some country-born Indian, cause him to be instructed to read the Bible. Why? Because it is kind of like what we people been saying. It's a little bit more easier to corrupt the immigrants. That's the only thing I can really stand with Tariq on is the fact that yeah, he called out the immigrants. Okay. And we need to do that. But and tying you still to be an immigrant is almost calling out yourself. Yeah, I got African ancestry DNA. So you calling yourself out? Because that's up until even 1714, they knew what a Negro and an Indian was. You may not know when you read this. You may think, oh, that's the red Indian. Negro is you, nigga. The Indian is the red one. Okay. All right. Mhm. That's what they was doing. They was looking at an Asian and a Negro and saying, "Let's put them in together." Yeah, yeah, that's what it make. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so it says, in pursuance to this method, the said societies have purchased about 15 months ago two such Negroes. Let me find where I left off. I remember this one. I had skipped a part, and I had to go find it again. I hate that I did that. Okay, here we go. I purchased two such Negroes for the said service in this province, and have since appropriated one of them for the same in Charlestown. So as y'all, if y'all want to understand a direction or area we're talking about South Carolina. Who will be sufficiently qualified for it in a few months, and whom all the Negro and Indians, you talking about Yamasee Indians, you talking about Powhatans in that area. You talking about Wale's in this area. Wale speaking Indians in this area. You talking about these particular, and then you also talking about um Moors from Europe, whether they be whatever, and some came over here free. Some may have gotten enslaved, not necessarily they came as slaves. Some may have, but I haven't seen that though. But I'd say that many of them came and were enslaved through wars between different factions. Like they were Brits and they got into it with the Spanish, and they both sides had niggas. So they got into it with each other, and what happened? You had some nigga slaves from prisoners of those wars. Okay, that's where these some of these came from. That's written in books. It says children of this pair. I should have got one of those books ready, but I got them in these old books about the Yamasis. Children at the parish may be sent to education without any charge to the masters or owners. So when it says that green part, that's the establishment of public school systems. But first, it's in the church. The church was your first public school system, and you didn't know because now they just teach you how to read the Bible and shit and books of the Bible and shit. Memorize that in Sunday school and make little drawings and shit out of whatever to galvanize the shit into you as a child or brainwash you as a child that this is what you are. So yeah, let me okay, yeah. So okay, now let's say okay, let's go to the next thing. It says, but whereas the said society have no fund to depend on carrying out this good work, but by under the blessing of God, the voluntary contributions of pious and well-disposed Christians, they are not without hopes of charitable assistance of some such in these parts towards it. It's crazy how they talk. If I would just read this to y'all, some of y'all would be sitting here like, what did that nigga just say? I'd be having to break this shit down for real. Because the way that they talked was different from what we talked today. The structures of their sentences, but basically they're saying, "Hey, if there's for some reason you can't pay for this shit, if for some reason you can't figure out how to pay for it, because remember earlier they said they figured out a way to pay for it, pay for doing mission work. And they was like, hey, if there's for some reason, oh, I just got it together. If there's some reason you can't figure out a pay for way to pay for the mission work, the voluntary contributions of the Christians in your church, nigga, will help us pay for the propagation of this mission of Christianizing and erasing Indian Negroes, purchasing the Negro. So what am I saying? We'll go back. I can save it. Hold on. I know our man. What am I? What are we talking about? We're talking about the mission. We're talking about the mission. The East Zion District's 105 years of mission service paid for by you. You pay for your own forced enslavement through either being a prisoner of war or an apprentice, a forced apprentice up into a certain year. Okay. Remember when I said they had to pay $10,000 a month to be part of the district? Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Let that connection sink in. And on the first part of their page, they're like, we're a self-governing body. We do our own thing. They doing their own thing. They self-governing, 501c3 structure. Everybody's on completely independent. We ain't cahooting about nothing. They voluntarily send me $10,000 to send this mission and Christianize your motherfucking Indians and erase them. Sinister. Sinister. So to spread the gospel and the support of missions out of your money, tax free. Oh no, you can't take none of the motherfucking money going up there. That money's going to the church wardens who we'll get to. This is hella game. Okay, let me go back. Okay. Uh, hold on, man. What the hell? Okay. So if you don't have a way to pay for it, your church folks will pay for it. That's how you'll get the mission done. They are not without hope. So notice, think about this. So now you can think about the structure or how it happens or how it gets propagated. So let's break this down. We buy us a country born Negro. The country born Negro comes back, starts to teach without law yet, before they put harsh laws about the church out. We got to get you used to coming to the church. So he goes and teach people to be part of this religion, make the church look real nice. They're going to put a lot of money towards it. These people start coming together. And once you get enough people together that's willing to give you some money towards whatever, you be like, yeah, man, give to the Lord 10%. We're gonna build up a little building, don't ask about what we do with the time money. Nobody really asks what they do with the time money. Nobody, right? And if you do, you must not have got no answers. But there's some people that know, those at the top, like my aunt did. My aunt was a pastor's wife. And had she never blurted this out years ago, I wouldn't be here today making this connection. I wouldn't think nothing about the East Zone District. I wouldn't know, because I wouldn't know they was getting paid so much money. I wouldn't have. I would have no way of likely finding that out. Well, I mean, maybe if I did some digging and maybe looked at like knew how to look at like public 501c3, church fucking annual what do you call it, tax records, and look at the tax records of the East Zion District. Oh, there he goes or something. I don't know. There's probably a way to go to find that paper trail, but I'm not. I'm more so on history and books and all this other research. I ain't never really looked up like that kind of shit. Could I find it? Probably. Probably. Well, I don't want to say I ain't never looked it up because at one time I was pissed off at Obama. I started looking at through that nigga's records. I started looking at the records, the public records of his foundation. I said, this nigga done took in 500 some thousand million dollars, 500 some $1 million, nigga, in donation money, nigga. And ain't doing shit with put out a little bullshit ass my brother's keepers my brother's keepers program. I say, you got a bunch of kids sitting down there coloring books with crayons, nigga. You got 500 mil. Them niggas should be building rocket ships. You know? Them niggas should be doing all kind of shit. Nigga, I said, this ain't nothing but a photo op. You got Obama out here at the school at the little My Brother's Keepers place with a bunch of youth, him smiling with them, coloring books, nigga. These niggas is, boy, what's up, Nikki? So my daddy used to spend it on his kids at Saks Fifth Avenue. That's what you need to do. Hell yeah. They want us because they want you to be putting money in there. I'm putting my money into me, damn it. You know what I'm saying? Put my money, get you something nice. Always invest in yourself. First invest into yourself. Because they want to demonize us when we want to look good and dress nice and what. Nigga, we're not gonna be like everybody else. We the most best dressed people, even in our worst conditions. Mm. Especially compared to like how we dress compared to Africans when we poor compared to some Africans that's just your normal everyday Africans. Boy, come on now. And your normal everyday Asians in some cases, and your normal Asian, some parts of Asian that came up, but there's a lot of parts, don't let it fool you. And then same thing like like Indian shit. So let's keep going. My bad. Getting off topic. I want to kind of go with what y'all saying though. Yeah, no, because I want to make this interactive. I want to, keep it interactive. Let me see what y'all been saying. Cause y'all my niggas, y'all my people, y'all my folks. Said literally manifest destiny. I seen you then, Nikki. Big Mama said 150 years. Yep. 10,000 a month back then was hefty. Yeah. So imagine what it is today. I bet it's even higher. Right? I bet they pay more even today. Yeah, I know they done went up. Yeah, we're gonna need to raise the fees. Financial Times have called for the Lord to ascend his blessings in affirming our needs for more money from you niggas. So send that money ASAPs, nigga. Okay. Uh and y'all still follow the church, right, Big Mama? Well, it's so sad. I've been gone from that from so long. I've been gone from the church from since I started since back then. So almost 20 plus years. It's almost like, man, that's when you really break your chains. It makes sense on why it broke the chains for many of us. Like with many of us, with a lot of us, and I'm gonna look over there to my folks, DJ Z and them here in a second in the YouTube world. Uh, and then we gonna get back. But like, yeah, when a lot of people say, "Hey, man, when I got away from the church, it seems like things just started changing," and I started going to different. It's like, yeah, it's like your ancestors. It's like while you're in there, you're in this trance, and when you're out of it, you're open to receive what the ancestors' messages are trying to send to you. Now you're privy to see the things that were already there, but you're just like, oh shit, like literally breaking out of the matrix, and then you see other people still living in the matrix. It's like, damn, just like the Matrix, right? Niggas is still in that motherfucker. God damn, that's all cool, but we living simultaneously. It's not like we're in a different world, like, and you have to transport over that bitch and then through a goddamn whatever, telephone, whatever it was back then. It's like, no, no, no. Y'all niggas living right next to each other, the same, similar frequency. We right here. We in the matrix, we out of the matrix, they in the matrix. Hmm. And the matrix is the system that they built up through this church, through getting rid of your religion, through switching up the matriarchy, patriarchy, through changing up the wording structures of what words we use for certain shit, hidden meanings, all these random spells and things that I now know. It's just like, man, how did I get to where I'm at today? I got away from it. I got away from that place slowly but surely. Crazy. Okay. Keep going down. What you saying? Yeah, this makes more sense. Sorry, y'all. I eat tithes and offerings. You already know. My daddy used to spend it on his kids the same. Yeah. No, they had no crayons. They were tortured. Dapper Dan. We had all of them offerings. He didn't even let the trustees keep the money. Oh yeah. Oh, was your dad a pastor? Like a what you call it? I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Wow. Now I'm putting it together. That's the building fund. Now when you're saying he's spending on his kids at Saks Fifth Avenue, I know what you. Oh shit! But that's real. And to be honest, when I'm glad you said that. When I go through this next document, he was supposed to do that. He was supposed to do that. When I go through this next article, the pastor was supposed to do that, and we didn't know, and we complained about it. Why is you doing this? Making yourself all rich, pulling up at goddamn new Buicks back then, with them new Buicks and shit, goddamn new lack, fresh ass suits and shit, and he don't give a damn what you said, nigga. He don't feel nothing bad about it. He knew that's what he's supposed to do by his laws. You didn't know, and he ain't got to explain it to you. That's the crazy thing too. They don't explain it because if they was to explain it, you wouldn't keep giving your money. The Lord has blessed us. That's all he says. Us, nigga, he blessed you. He has blessed us. Blessing you, nigga. I'm out here working hard in the fields, right? In the workhouses, the schoolmasters of the workhouses. They were schoolhouse wardens, church wardens. They were called church wardens, and the wardens of the workhouses. They were the church wardens of the workhouses, getting money off of you. Mm. Before taxes, and now taxes get you, and you get a hit twice. Once they separated church and state, now the state takes this over. Now you're getting hit twice. So yeah, it says, does the district have the same meaning as Washington District of Columbia? So yes. So when we look up what a district is, we're gonna look into that. Because that's gonna go into this next, and we almost done with this article. That's gonna show us. He said ain't no cloud chasers around here. Hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to, let me look over here. I'm gonna have to get over here to my YouTube side real quick. But yeah, once we get through this is gonna show who established those districts, because it says something like the Lords, whatever. And then we'll look at the newspaper again and see it was the Lord's proprietors. And who are the Lord's proprietors? It's going to tell us they're the people of the Church of England. And who are in the church, who are over the Church of England? The kings and the queens of England. Vatican, all that shit. Okay, well, Vatican's more Catholic, so let me not say that. That would have came through more the Spanish, but I think they've really almost damn near combined, to be honest. But they just kind of keeping themselves separate as they have the same mission. You know, that's what I feel like on that. Let me go up first on the YouTube. Says, bro, you are pretending. Stop trying to get cloud off Tariq and make your own lane. If he's been here during any more of this, he's either still watching, like, oh my god, this nigga actually does have a lane, or he left like a little Tariq ball chasing bitch. Okay, one of the two. One of the two. Tariq would never ever do anything like this, and I can do this every day, and I can show you something new every day. Oh, the haters are gonna follow and hate now. Continue to do that. They probably been beating your ass up in the comments. We are Mama Nature's jewels. This is a crusade. We are surviving. You already know. And you see how hard it is. Literally, when you say crusade, DJZ, that's literally what this is. This is the crusades. This is the non-sword to the head crusades. It's through laws and sneakiness and deception and all this other shit. That's what's so. What's up, Yaya? Hold on, I'm gonna look and see what you're saying. Here in a second, I'm gonna read through my little YouTube, give my YouTube folks some love here for a second. Uh, it says, right, I have Southeast Siamese Negro, American Indian, and Hispanic Negro lineage. Damn. He says, forcing the Paleo Hebrew, the prehistoric dark man to be overwritten and whitewashed by imaginary sky daddy. Yeah, and that's what gets us into this matrix like trance that they got us stuck in and paying for it. That all we African shit are lies, because Afro Asiatic Negroes are related to Negro American Indians. Converted unalive, they said. Yep, during the Crusades. A black hole of villainy consuming everything, not even the fish and birds. Facts. I never went to church, been seeing this shit. And shit looked like everybody like they like, what the hey? Yeah, it's looking like everybody like, what the hell? Colonial Magic, the God spell. Yep, yeah, go down here a little bit further. He saved Jonah from the well. He got Gillian off the island. All right, I can't go through them all because I do need to go, but I'm gonna go through a couple more because y'all my niggas. Who raised you niggas? Throws these on that bitch. It says the sword is of the words, the X on them Exodus. You definitely are. If you have to do it for 8 hours, I don't have to do an 8 hour video to prove my lineage to this land. See, that's the funny thing. You didn't watch the 8 hour video. You just like 8 hours. This nigga crazy. We probably talked about the Tariq thing. You talking about that first morning thing? Yeah, yeah. We probably talked about the Tariq thing at first for a little bit, and then we had put. You want to know how much we put in? So much game. We put in like, yeah, y'all laughing over here in TikTok world, especially what these dumbass FBA following ass YouTubers is trying to say. Nigga, you know how much game we put in about this topic. That's why we on this topic right now. And then eventually somebody came up and told me that Tariq made that whole whatever and the thumbnail about me. And we had what 8 people come up on my panel, some of the top people in TikTok over here on the panel. Yeah, we went for 8 hours. Niggas was chatting it up, roasting, going, and building. But nobody talking about Tariq for 8 hours. Y'all niggas see one thing. That's the problem with FBA. They headline niggas. They just see the headline, and then that's it. They don't read the document, right? FBA wins victory. Yes, yes, yes. Do you read further down? They won a victory to jail for being cult leader. I mean cultist or some shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We won, guys. That's us, man. We did it. You dumb niggas, and y'all assign that. That's why they'll put that shit on your reparations check. They gonna put so much language in there, y'all ain't gonna know what to do. They gonna say it's gonna say in that bitch, here's $300,000, but when you cash it, it's gonna be $50. Yeah, we won, nigga. FBA got reparation. What? I only get $50? Where the rest go? To the court master. Dumb nigga, you didn't read. You didn't read, you fuck dumb niggas. Just like Tariq never show you a goddamn thing. You, Tariq, tell me more shit you never show me. I know you told me that same shit too. Tell me again about it. I ain't got shit better else to do with my motherfucking life, nigga. I'm FBA. I'm not trying to figure out who my ancestors is. Genealogy, nigga, who cares? I know my mom and my daddy. I've been here. I've been here. My grandma up the street. I've been here. The dumbest niggas on the planet, the most cult-like niggas on the planet. And unfortunately, I was one of y'all dumb niggas at one point. To be honest, I never was that dumb. I never was y'all dumb. That's why I'm here today. Otherwise, I'd be where y'all at, still dumb in the Matrix, like the little bitches. TikTok, your live stream contains things that some may have uncontrollable feelings about. Reason, harassment, and bullying. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Go to work, be productive, broke boy. Oh, hold on. What they say? What do y'all like? Y'all know what I like to show when they say I'm broke, right? Jingle my keys this way. I might even have to turn the light on. God damn it. You see that? That's one Mercedes-Benz key fob player. That's two Mercedes-Benz separate key fob, sir. I live by myself. This is not my girl's car. I do not rent these. And if I was to show you the inside of one of them, you'd be mad. With all the neon lights glowing in that bitch. Okay? If I would show you and I sat in that motherfucker and I let the pillarless windows down on that bitch with the whole motherfucking roof damn near gone on that hoe as I ride through smoking my gas all up and down these streets with the windows down, bumping my 12-inch sub like a hood nigga. Fuck out of here, broke. And I got businesses, bitch boy. Work for nobody. And I didn't have to get the money off the people. You funded Tariq like a little old bitch. And I did too. I funded it. I wasn't a little old bitch. I funded the cause of reparations. Y'all sit here and follow his. Let me get off this nigga. Yeah, because these niggas are gonna distract me from this game. And I gotta get on this motherfucking game. Got me over here getting TikTok restrictions. 1, 2, whatever. Let me get out these restrictions. I'm a still clown y'all niggas though. I'm a clown y'all niggas. Y'all the most right now. I can see y'all was some of the most dumb niggas on the planet. Even I knew Tariq didn't know that much information. Even when I was following the whole FBA movement, even I knew Tariq didn't know that much information. I was like, okay, this nigga's like a Pan-African, to a degree, but he's, still kind of, talking more about non-immigrant shit. Okay, cool. I said, it ain't like he knows history like that. He'll toss in a historic fact here and there that I would have thought was fact, because he'll just, He would just tell you to go look it up, and y'all dumb niggas never look it up. Okay, Tariq, I'm gonna look it up sometime and point him loudly. But I believe you. Why would I look it up, Tariq? You told me to look it up, but I believe you. I looked it up. You looked it up. I looked it up. So when I talk to niggas, I'm gonna tell them I looked it up too, because they gonna get on the panel too. I did look it up, nigga. They in TikTok world. I did look it up, nigga. It did. And then they come from niggas like me or some of my folks over here, the Indians, and they show you that shit. What? No, I ain't never seen that before. But that ain't what I seen. But you know they don't never concede. That ain't what I seen, though. Nope, that ain't what I seen. I got sources. Just let me show you. What you gonna do? What's your source? You gonna find the Tariq video clip, bitch? You gonna find the Tariq video clip? This is my source right here. See, Tariq said our food came from slavery times, and he said that he learned it from slave narratives. This nigga said he learned indigo came from slavery from slave narratives. I wish I would have caught that like while I was on that live stream, nigga. I would have died laughing at that nigga. What did you just say slave narratives, nigga? I completely missed that. Oh my god, you gotta be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. Okay, let me look over here on the TikTok world because Yaya was throwing out some cool points. Then we're gonna get back because Yaya she said no, the Church of England and the Catholic Church were at odds with each other consistently. Oh, appreciate that. See, I hadn't looked into that because I was sitting there saying that they might even still be the same thing today. But one person I do believe is Yaya. I believe her a lot. I'm still gonna look up everything she's told me, right? She's guiding me with right information to what I need to go look up. That's what you're supposed to do, you dumb fucks. When he tells you to look, she don't have to tell me to look it up. I know I'm gonna look it up. When he tells you to look it up, you still don't look it up. Look it up. Stupid ass niggas, man. Said facts. Ranieri did not rule the Church of England. And Yaya Rome did not run the Church of England. Gotcha. What I'll probably do too, the rest went to Tariq. I was on the fringes at one point. Not the Benz keys. This is a job to that's his job is to distract. Oh yeah. No, that's real. And give you another stopping point to where you won't look back further. And you ain't even got to look back that far. We in 1740s, 50s right now. He talking about 1870. Don't look no further back. That's too much reading. That's too much looking. I ain't gonna never look that far as a historian, even though I make history video. Let me get out this nigga. Even though I make videos about history, my history stops at 1870, nigga. What you mean history? You better learn history. That's what he gonna tell you. You better learn history. 1870 and up history. Stupid ass niggas. Chickasaw love neons in their car. You know what, Jackson? That's wild you say that. Because when I was young, I had a shitty ass. I gotta show y'all my first car. Hell yeah, I'm gonna show you my first car because I came up in nowhere from zero to hero. Not just playing. A Chevrolet Sprint. Most people would never know what the hell a Chevrolet Sprint is, nigga. It wasn't the photo. It was that's it right there. That same color, nigga. That was it, nigga. First car, nigga. Niggas made fun of me. Niggas rocked my car left and right after school. Quit rocking my car, nigga. Oh my god, nigga. I am not playing, but even though I just started off in high school with a little piece of shit, thanks to my papa who helped me find it for a little bit of cash. He's like, I got your first car, grandson. Stick shift. Had to learn how to drive a stick shift. I still put blue neons in that bitch. I literally said when I got this Benz with the blue knee, with well, you can change the color to anything, but it starts off with the blue. I said, "Damn, this is like a transformation of like what I wanted as a kid." Because later on, I ended up getting like a Chevrolet Cavalier, and that was kind of cool. So a little evolution. Let me say, it was a 1998 Chevrolet Cavalier. Cavalier. So then your boy came up a little two door right there, that little white like that, but with black bumpers. I was trying to get the black bumpers off, but to be honest, I still like that. It's a nice design. You take that little line in the on the door off and switch the little headlights up a little bit. To be honest, I'd still take one of those today and freak that bitch out on the motherfucking custom. You know what I'm saying? Fill that bitch up with speakers, put a kit on that hoe, and have fun with it. But that's what I went to for the next vehicle. And then from there, I've had a bunch of array. I've had all kind of a bunch of different vehicles, to be honest. And today for the bitch boy that said that I'm broke and whatever. Because even Tariq put that shit out. No, sir. This is one of my Benzes right here. It is a two-door. I wanted to find a black one, but it is a two-door version of that. Now think about how I just showed you I had a white one, a white Cavalier, and now look at what I got. Similar profile, right? But it's a whole nother level. When you elevate in light, you go through different levels, and you're still you who you were, you elevated. And I'm still me elevated. Okay. Not that I'm bragging, except to them bitch niggas. All right, they want to call me broke, nigga. That's one of my business. The other one is just another little cut, another little. It ain't nothing major. The other one is just a little GLE. Cause my first Benz had to be a strategic. Wanted to find the one with the headlights that I got, but yeah, kind of like that. Um, but like my first Benz that I got, that I have a car detail business for my main business. The other business is a podcast studio. But for your backup vehicle, you should at least have another SUV, something that you can use. As an entrepreneur, you definitely want to make sure you got backup. So my first Benz I had a silver one before this one, and then I got this black one. But basically, I got an SUV first, so that way I can use it to work out of in case my little piece of shit work truck go down, and which it does go down and shit. But after I got through that and had that, then I got the black. I mean the white, or it's a black. Both of them are black. Both of them are black. Business or whatever. Both E classes, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So let me get off that topic. Bragging about myself. Um, that nigga still going. I don't believe that nigga. He just saying shit. Go back to work. You broke. That's like Tariq cultures. They don't even believe what you see, what you show them. You know what I'm saying? They waiting for Tariq to let them know that you got a Benz. Oh, I got Tariq. Tariq did say you had a Benz. Following ass niggas, dumb following ass niggas. He did say that. Damn. Okay. I believe that. Damn. Well, congratulations on your Benz. Okay, my bad. Okay, I can't read. Okay, let me keep going. Hold on. You said you at work. My work truck is down there. Ah, yeah. See, and mine should be half the time. Mine do be shit. I pretty much keep a setup in the work bins, and that kind of sucks. But I ain't gonna lie. I done swerved. I'll take things out of the back seat, but I done swerved the bins to pick up girls with that motherfucker with a water tank in the back, slow shit. Oh, don't worry about that. That's just a little water tank. I forgot to empty that bitch out so you didn't know that there was something back there. But it's just a little water tank, got nigga got a little business. But now nigga got the other bins. I could just pull up on you in that one. And then I pull up and be like, yeah, there go my other one right there. You know what I'm saying? If you know, I was about to say if you need to use it, but I don't know about letting a girl drive either one of my Benzes. But okay. Let's go. Let's get back to this. My bad, y'all. I'm all over the place. Okay. So just to get back into what we're talking about, okay. This nigga still in the comments. Why you in the dark? Go and show it, look up, and Stephen Harding. I actually have video and pictures of me go living good. I'm gotta go to work at Cummings at 150K. He tried to prove himself in the comments. And why I got the light on, nigga, I can turn the light on now. It's because it's morning time and I'm smoking, nigga. I want to see you, nigga. I want to see you. He told me you had a nice bussy. Tariq likes to tell us about bussies, so I want to see you. I was smoking, nigga, so I don't get hit up on the algorithm and y'all can still see a nice visual instead of just me showing you the motherfucking this. See, my people actually care about the efforts I put into my visuals. And it's goddamn 6 in the morning. Now 8. These niggas is weird. And he proving himself in the comments. I got a 150K a year job that they take 40K in taxes off of. I'm working. Not to knock anybody with a job, but I'm knocking this nigga with a job. And nigga, I make more than that. I got businesses, and I ain't gonna tell you what I do. I'm gonna tell you like this. I ain't a part of this system that got changed over, and I ain't even finna go into details. I'm not you. I'm not you at all. And I have way more potential. You gonna stop at 150K because that's where they gonna keep your ass at. Y'all can retire with this. Yeah, y'all good. Yeah, that's exactly what they do to the slave. Is this good enough for your slave? You do good works for us. You put in nice skills and time. Yeah. You continue you going to church and listening to Reek and things and giving your tithes, offerings and things and playing a good patsy for the system, sir. So yeah. We give you 150. We're gonna take 40 of that, and we're gonna also up this motherfucking economy for you. But we all living up under it though. I ain't mad. We all living up under it. I'm just shitting on him. Okay. No, not to people out there working because we all in our transitions. In fact, once I get to a certain level, I plan to not only teach and help people business game, but you got to prove before you do that. And which I've proven. I've been in business for almost 6 years. But like, I'm trying to get to a level where I'm at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? Before I start teaching that kind of shit. But but on top of that, I want to be an angel investor at some point because I do know a lot about advertising, marketing, businesses, and I can do a lot of the work myself. I can have me a team. I don't even need a team, but even if I did have a team, it'd be like 1 or 2 people. Likely, I say, yeah, so likely 1 or 2 people. I was about to say pay somebody from the Philippines, but not no more. I used to do that, but and that's not a bad thing to do. If you want to learn how to pay people from the Philippines and get you like a 40-hour a week worker for $300 a month, for real, two, three, $400 a month, and they work for you. They answer phone calls for you. They do all kind of stuff, or be your personal assistant or whatever. Onlinejobs.ph. I just tell you, onlinejobs.ph. It's $60 a month. Pay for 1 month, post a job, let people apply to you. A lot of people will apply. Hire you a person and be done. It costs you about $60. You know what I'm saying? Onlinejobs.ph. Okay, well, I'll show you real quick too. Online jobs. Whoop, I can't do it that way. My bad. Online jobs. That way you can get a screenshot. So if you need like a full-time graphic design person for your business because you're trying to up your social media game and you want to put out a whole lot of posts and you want them to be your social media manager. So you want them posting on all 6 websites. You want them commenting on multiple different let's say you're selling dog brand stuff. Okay. You want them going to dog groups under those profiles as those profiles and people and other groups that are like hobbyist groups, and you want them commenting under those posts and replying to people and actually engaging as if you're part of the community. That leads people to your page, right? That as well as that's like them, you have them doing that on an everyday basis, and that has them building up your followers. Building up your followers over time is going to build up your brand, you know? And the further you build that, and that's just one portion, that's just one piece of game. You can have them do a lot though. SEO, you'd have to make sure you get the right person for that. That's don't go searching for SEO. It's kind of hard. There's a lot of people that only do partial SEO, Google SEO. Um, but if you want somebody to make a website for you, well, that's a one-time thing. If you want somebody to make a website for you, a one-time thing, that's Fiverr or Upwork. Let's say I'm writing a book, um, looking to hire. Let's say I'm writing. I mean, you can just click. To be honest, all these little tabs at the top, development, architect. If you don't know what the hell you want to do, or you're not sure where it is, click on each one of those tabs and read all of those. You're gonna find it. I'm looking for a video editor. There's video editors. I'm looking for podcast producers. I'm podcast producers. I don't know how. There's remote podcast. I just realized there's remote podcast producers. So I have a podcast studio in Dallas, and I thought about putting out multiple podcast studios in different cities. But then we'd have to hire somebody to be there, which is typically fine. You can get some local photographer out there, pay them part time to go out there and do the job for you. But but you can hire somebody if you set it up remotely with certain equipment. Yeah, you can hire somebody to run that bitch remotely. They'll basically be there on the screen when people walk in, pretty much telling them what to do. If they have any problems, he's right there. They'll sit down, they'll do their thing or whatever, kind of guide them through it. And once they're done, he'll tell them how to take the card, or well, not really take the card out. Really, if you hook it up right, the switch will already be connected to the computer, which he'll have remote access to. So he can really just probably sit there and remotely switch the cameras, uh, and at the end of the show, I already had the file, edit that bitch, send it off to the customer. And I never have to even be there. Now you talking about an autonomous business that I never had to be there, and I could pay somebody remotely, even cheaply, to do, which I do plan on doing. So I bet, but you got all kind of stuff in here, man. If you need somebody, if you're writing a book and you need somebody to draw the illustrations in there, you got illustrators. Okay, so we're gonna get back to the real game, but that's hella game too. I want to be able to do videos about that kind of stuff too one day. I just, I'm not as I'm passionate about business. Don't get me wrong, passionate about it, but I'm really more passionate about this stuff. So let's get back to it. For sure, yeah, yeah. Say yeah, USD stretch in the Philippines. I was out there in the point. Yeah, and when I say $300 a month, like these people was paying like less than $100 a month for for the where they be staying and stuff like that. Like when I say $300 a month, like AT&T, when I looked it up, AT&T pay their call center employees over there like $127 a month back then. Maybe they got a little raise to 175, $200 a month. But like back then, that's what they pay. So if you go there and you're offering them twice to three times what they're offering, back then I was paying somebody like 700, 800, $900 a month, something like that. I didn't know. And I was like, boy, they was super happy. I was one of the niggas was dedicated. but but you'll get on there. And also if you feel bad, they post what they would offer, what they accept as a salary. Like you would, they'll post their resume and they'll be like, yeah, I'm my desired salary is between 150 to $400. Or they'll say my desire, or if they're really up there on some, when you get to like real high technical skills, because those people can get jobs in corporations now remote, they tend to start asking for a little bit more money. Like you're gonna get them like $1,500 a month, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, something like that. But you better have some valuable reason for using that. But you can still find some people that are startups trying to just come in doing those same skills for the lower fee. But yeah, 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 yeah. So anyways, let's get back to it. All right. So as we've kind of broken down, we got some country born Negroes being bought with the church money in order to propagate the mission of the Bible of Church of England throughout foreign parts or Indian territory. And they've already done this with the Indian and Negro children together, those Negroes being European Negroes for the most part, putting those together with melanated Negroes or melanated Indians and melanated Europeans, right? And that's the establishment of making those people of the schoolhouse and the establishment of the school. So let me see. I think I did finish reading that. No, no, no. I didn't. Okay, so this is after they said they'll figure out how much they're going to pay for it. What time is it? 8:28. Okay. It says, but more especially as they have appropriated one said Negro for the service in Charlestown, they hope that the inhabitants thereof will voluntarily contribute so small a sum of 400 currency. So what I just said, where they said, hey, if you don't have the money, you can have the church people pay for it. And they said they already have a Negro out there in Charlestown right now today that have inhabitants there who will voluntarily, boy, they've been using that. Notice that's there. Notice how voluntarily, where my little pointer, man? That's wild. Because they want you to know that you look, ain't that what they say? You got to damn near, you have to give it to them yourself. You have to volunteer to be in this system. You have to consent. Voluntary, right? What's the what did we say the Ezine district said? Let me save this. Okay, let me see if he wants to do that. Period, and I'll let you know. Thanks, boss. Literally running my business while I'm doing this live stream. This nigga like, get a job, nigga. Broke nigga out here, get a job. Stupid. 'Cause I gotta. What was I about to do? What was I about to? Oh yeah, Ezine District. I want to show y'all this before I lose my train of thought and do that. So the mission, and under their mission, what did they say? Support, and these people say, what did they say? Voluntarily decide. You volunteered for this. That's what they've been saying. You volunteered for this. And they were saying that back fucking then. Making these connections, boy. They were saying that shit back then. Go back, go back. Which one were you? Yeah, voluntarily contributing for the enslaved and literally, so think about that. Since the beginning, we enslaved ourselves. Well, let me take that back. Let me take that back. Forced apprenticeships up to a certain age. Let's not say enslavement. Forced apprenticeship up to a certain age through baptismal records and loans. Enslavement only came through uh the law. I'm about to adjust my camera, but the enslavement only came through people who broke the law. Just like today. Or prisoner of war. Hold on. Or being a prisoner of war. Let's throw that in there too. Or being a prisoner of war. And everybody was mad at Kanye. Oh, that's word. Said this is a crazy. Said I know, right? POW. I know. This is like these are like the most craziest finds you can find. Let me do the good morning, comma. We have found a detailer that decided that he can go outside of our boundaries to your location, period. He is available tomorrow or either Thursday and can take care of all of the vehicles at one time if you would like, period. Let me know if this works for you. If not, we can refund the deposits. Okay, so like this nigga say I'm a broke nigga. Let me tell y'all this. So a dude, I don't, and let me tell you how much I don't chase the money. I chase it, but how much I'm still not gonna do. Like that, I don't like driving outside of my boundary. I stick within my boundaries of whatever here for the detail business. Um, in Dallas, and I don't like going outside for multiple different reasons. But even then, I might go out for if it depends how far and how much money. But I still don't all the time. And like a guy yesterday, last minute booked three of my top details, which they're $269 each. So you talking about almost what 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, almost 800 some dollars in a day just on one detailer. You know what I'm saying? And I still didn't want to go out and do that, bitch. They said, nigga, you where? Fairview. I don't know. 48 minutes? Let me see if one of my guys want to do this, nigga, because I'm not driving up there. What's up, Tabitha? I'm not driving up there, man. Good. Grand rising to you, Tabitha. Says I'm gonna indoctrinate my cousin into big Indian business. Yeah, we have to. We have to get ourselves when like Yaya just said when we enslaved ourselves when Kanye said that shit. Man, wars of English courts. Yeah, it said legal fiction, infantilization. Then our inheritance were taken by the church and the state. Yup, it's all making sense now. It's like the Moors told us, but they didn't give us the direct. I give the Moors a lot of credit on a lot of things, though. Manufacturer consent, yeah, because at least the older Moors that I used to listen to, because like um they would say stuff like this, like, "Oh, it's them Masons. They the one that got me looking into the Masons." You know what I'm saying? It's the Masons. It's these whatever Taj Tariq. It's these Skull and Bones people. It's these this. It's that, and and they got us by these straw mans and blah blah blah. And I was just like, okay. But he always kept leaving his documents at home. You know what I'm saying? I had that document somewhere. Oh damn, Taj. Why you can't have your documents? So the church is the state and the state of the church. That's right, yeah. In fact, that's what I've realized through this. In fact, I was like, at some point, there's like a separation of church and state, but not really, but to a degree. I actually came up with the idea that because before there were public schools, there were schoolhouses through the church wardens. So technically, and the vestrymen were of the church, and the school and the whole work and the system was through the church, and you were either forced in it through apprenticeships or you're a free person. You didn't have nothing to do with this. There's a lot of people that didn't get caught up in the system. Some of my ancestors did, the ones that went to Oklahoma, and not all the ones that went to Oklahoma, some that did, right? Because some of mine were wealthy Oklahomans. So but the ones that did, and one that did, he was the son of a chief, and I didn't realize they may have kidnapped the chief's kids or whatever the case. Like, how did y'all get? That's a long another story. But I got his letter. That's another story. But okay. But but at some point, the 12 vestrymen of the church likely become the 12 or whatever people representatives in Congress, right? And the school masters, who were the church wardens, become the superintendents. And then the deacons become the heads of the schools. And the pupils are the church or the school or the kids. And now tithing, which used to be taxes or which used to be punishable by law, is now voluntary, and taxes is punishable by law. You're getting hit double with the tax because the taxes is going to the government, but your money also with the church goes to the church wardens, the Zion district, which goes to support the missions, which goes to the church, or the same folks who's over the politics. They've separated church and state by making a mirror image of those things to do two things: the religion binds you mentally to the system. You've been forced into it religiously through if you stay in here long enough, they were having laws that showed forced you to go to everybody to go to church on Sunday in certain colonies that they had control over, or else you can forfeit your land and be put on the public stocks to be humiliated. So, like, going to church on Sundays was forced by law, or forfeiture of land, which also explains land grabs. But long story short, but then you separate that, and now you're stuck into this religion that also leaves you stuck into this system voluntarily in both as you until you awake and be like, wait a minute, let me get away from this church and go study my own spirituality, and let me get away from this work system and go work for myself. And that's where I'm at. I work for myself, and I got away from the church long ago. So the church state was yep. Before the state married you, the church did. Yep. That's wild. And yeah, and actually before and think about this, yeah, too. And I got a record now for this too. Um at first it was the baptismal records that the government or that the church wardens that the pastors would give to the church wardens, and the church wardens could take that and get a loan backed by loan backed annuities. This is, or if I'm saying it right, I got to go back to Travis. I had to bring up Travis, who came up with this through the reading the records. But they could get loans basically through the government or through major insurance companies or through major corporations with your baptism certificate, as they were first propagating the Bible to youth. And once you get baptized, that loan goes to school you in apprenticeships to work on the fields, and they would get a share of what you produce on that crop. So you have a church warden disseminating or collecting taxes and things from the so-called farmers, who were the so-called masters or freemen, who would collect taxes or whatever. Either way, on the folks. But like, what was I about to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, so basically they was getting loans back through the birth, I mean through the baptismal records. Well, that changes over to birth certificates, right? Now they get loans on you through birth certificates, and you get those loans and money now through that they can get right through corporations like the Federal Reserve, which now I know why it's a private corporation lending the money. Just put that together. They giving the money on the birth certificate, and that money is taxes that go to fund the public school system, which is the same thing as getting the baptismal records to get the money to go and fund the school systems that they were church wardens over back then. And so that's the public. It's crazy. Social security numbers. Yep. Yep. So let's keep going. Let me show y'all this because I've been saying it, but let me show you it now. Okay. Charlestown voluntarily contribute a small sum of 400 currency for the building of a convenient schoolhouse. Actually, what we just say, because we were talking about propagating the motherfucking Bible, right? We were just talking about propagating church. But they said they want you to voluntarily contribute the money from the church member for what? A schoolhouse. So we just hit it. I was really right on time with the money for a schoolhouse for them, which the subscriber consents may be done on a corner piece of globe. He's basically telling them where they can put it at, a little lot over here on the side of the whatever. And then it says right here, hearts, it says to contribute towards it. No, it's you got to finish it before 3 to 4 months from this day. And whosoever shall be disposed in their hearts to contribute towards it may pay the contributions into the hands of either the church wardens of Charlestown or the subscriber at the same shall be. So really, I've had this document for over a year and a half or so, or somewhere, maybe a year. And never could put it together until now. And I didn't know the word church wardens was in there. And that's what led us down this path of other newspapers. So let's go to the other newspaper. So now we know that we have church wardens established to establish these schoolhouses for mission work via the church religion, and foreign born Negroes that aren't from here, and putting them together with Indians who are from here that look similar, um, but they're not. Let me give them a little markup. I used to have this marked up, but I lost a lot of markings. Okay, now this paper is from the other paper was from 17 something, 30 something, 40 something like that. This was from 1907, talking about what was going on back then. It's pretty wild. So let's go in here. It says in last Sunday's letter, some very interesting notes were given on the earliest laws. Whoops, earliest laws. And let me change that too. On the earliest laws enacted in the North Carolina, enacted for North Carolina, these bestowing by the Palatine, the Lords Proprietors, and the Grand Assembly. So these laws are being enacted by the Palatine. And who is the Palatine? The Lords Proprietors and the Grand Assembly. Well, let me show you some that I found. What does that say right there? Going back to 1732. To the Honorable Thomas Penn Esquire. I looked up what Esquire meant. That means like a young lad, but within some. So it's like this man wasn't even that old, but one of the proprietors of the province of Pennsylvania. And notice what they're talking about below it. Church wardens in the church. Let's go back. Now let's look at that again. Who's putting 1,700 documents, 1,700 newspapers, and 1,900 newspapers together like this? Who's doing that? Who's finding shit like this? Not, don't tell me. I mean, I know I ain't the only one. I'm talking shit against Tariq. If you didn't get it, right? But so the Palatine, the Lord's proprietors, we just saw who a proprietor was. Thomas Penn, whoever that is, right? Probably related to William Penn or whatever that dude's name is. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. That works. Thursday would be great. Okay, cool. He said he can do them Thursday if you're free Thursday. Okay. All right. All right. It's almost 9 o'clock. Okay. All right. So the Lord's proprietors and the Grand Assembly, these are the Palatine. Okay. Now it says, let me get my little markup back going. Okay, right here. Lord's proprietors, the Grand Assembly. These people basically, it says right after Grand Assembly, says, which met then any and everywhere, which met back then any and everywhere, there being no fixed seat of government. So we're talking about a time in that 1730s, 40s time before there was a government established in the colony. And who was running the colony before there was a government? The Palatine. And who was the Palatine? The Lords Proprietors. And we just saw who one of the proprietors was. Who's his lord? Right? Who's his lord? And the Grand Assembly. Okay. Much attention was given to the matter of marriages. Didn't you just say that, Yaya? I forgot that was in there. You was right on time because I forgot this part. They also started trying to propagate the gospel. So, how do you do it amongst the youth? You first got to kind of get the people in there, and you start trying to put this whole marriage thing out there. That'll get the woman in there. Monogamy. That's how we'll get them. All these Indians out there, because what we did at the time, we looked up the practices of the Indians, of Florida Indians and Natchez at the time, in another book, and we went over a couple chapters of or a chapter of what the Indians did. And they didn't have ceremonial practices like that for most some of them did, but not what they're doing. But what I'm saying is there was a lot of times they had multiple wives, not not all the men. The only men that have multiple wives is those that can support multiple wives. Everything was really pro woman. The woman can have as many husbands as I mean, not as many husbands as she wants, but she can get a husband and throw him away, like divorce a husband whenever she wants to. She can be with other men if the husband allowed her to be with other men. When it talked about she could be of a licentious, have licentious behaviors, and it was not negative of any kind of way, negatively impact her. Like ain't nobody shaming you for being out there doing your little whole phase, all this stuff. And it sounds like, and I was like, it sounds like we don't get married like that. You know what I'm saying? Even today, we still don't get married like that. We're gonna go through here, and this is gonna be a situation where it's like a guy where he's talking about that. Like, these people here, they're not getting married. We need to get these people married. And then I told a story about the Wale. I got a video on this where the Wale uprising, where the Catholics tried to do the same thing to the Wale Indian, or the Indians that spoke Wale down there in Florida, in St. Augustine area and other places. Or it might have been not St. Augustine, it might have been St. Augustine. I think it was. And they were trying to institute monogamy, and they was fine with it. People was cool with it for a while, right? But then one of the chiefs wanted to get a divorce. Not that he had multiple wives, he just wanted to get a divorce. And at that time, they had a law that you could not get a divorce. You were almost bound to your wife for life. That was it. The chief went through, beheaded the pastor, went through every church in the district, beheaded all of them, set them all on pikes in front of the churches, and was like, all right, you want to bring this shit around here again? You telling me I can't give me another woman? I got to live with this woman? And I'm not mad at that. You know what? It sounds crazy, man, but I've had a best friend off himself from a bad marriage. You know, and you think about the mental things both men and women go through. It's like you also know of a woman who's been put through the wall by men. You gonna tell both these folks they gotta stay in the same place by law together and still do. Yeah, that make you want to go ahead and change things up as a major chief too. Wow, no, you got me messed up, man. So especially when you know the history and he knows how it used to be, right? We don't know how it used to be, so we're bound to the divorce marriage system. Nowadays, modern times, we're trying to figure out our balance with it. Some people back then, also some Indians did say, if like the man, if you was a man and you couldn't support multiple women, you would, in a sense, have to have one wife. It's not that good. It wasn't a lot of good things in there for the men. Okay, only if you made good money, it was it. It's still today, same shit. You know what I mean? Uh, you said we did common law more than anything, and they're gonna talk about common law right here. You know what? Watch this. When I tell you Yaya know what the hell going on, look at that Yaya right there. We about to see what it say about that. Yaya be knowing what the hell going on. She know what the hell going on. Okay. So let's read this part. So it says, let's go back up. And much attention was given in the matter of marriages. For a great many thousand of people lived together in wedlock without any ceremony. They were shacking up, as there was a scarcity of persons, and justices of the peace were oftentimes hard to find. If the truth were known, a surprisingly large number of early settlers thus lived what in New York are now termed common law wives. So yeah, but basically what they're saying is sorry about it, they blowing their leaves around this morning. But basically what they're saying is back in them times before government, people were living out of wedlock. Now why does that matter? There's no government. And they're like, hey, well, there was no judges and magistrates around like that. So they was just kind of doing what they need to do. Ah, okay. So let's keep going. And they was living in what they would call common law wives or common law marriages. Must have been numerous in the notes. Whoops. Yeah. And though which must have been numerous in the notes which I prepared 3 years ago, that the delightful old publication, The Running of the Boundary Between the North and South Carolina, written by that cynical old Virginia gentleman, Colonel William Byrd. And I found that book that he wrote. But he's basically about to quote a book what this dude said in the book about that area at the time. And he said that dude, William Byrd, said that he took occasion to refer to the melancholy lack of marriages. Okay. So this is like one of the first YT dudes going around saying, man, these niggas ain't out here getting married. Mm. What's wrong with these niggas out here living and shacking up and ain't going through the actual processes? That's like one of the first persons in the sense going through there. It says it was enacted in 17, I think 05, that whereas a great many people in foreign parts, let me do that different. A great many people in foreign parts, what are foreign parts? Indian territory, territories outside foreign to the colonies or South Carolina, North Carolina around this time. Okay. Um, it says it is said that in that time, 1705, that whereas a great many people in foreign parts have come and settled themselves here as man and wife, such people shall, if accused by creditable report or common fame, by creditable report or common fame of being not lawfully married, come within 12 months and produce a sufficient certificate of their marriage, or at least that they have been taken and reputed as man and wife in the government where they last resided. So what are they saying? They're saying, hey, there's people coming over there from either Indian territory or some other foreign part, which could also be Spanish or it could be whatever, but it could be Indians. It could have been y'all niggas. They done okay, so they move into Charlestown, move the Indians out, and then they build up a nice ass looking complex, and then the new niggas start coming around and be like, ooh, look at that, look at what they building over there. I ain't gonna lie, I'd probably be one of them. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to be I wouldn't be one of them niggas. I definitely wouldn't be one of them niggas if I knew they just did it. Like I'm saying that because I'm a city nigga. I was about to say I like to be in the city. But no, they were our cities before they took them. And to be honest, Charlestown would have been already built up. So let's say that. Let's start there. Let's start there that the lot that they built up Charlestown. So let's switch it. Let's switch it to some reality. They came in, took over Charlestown, moved out the Indians. Charlestown was amazing, right? Eventually, they set up shop, started letting people come in, and Indians started coming back. Like, all right, man, I'm coming back up in here, man. It looks good. This is my buildings. Well, now they got you coming in, living as man and wife, shacking up, and you ain't married, nigga. We got to do something about this. Okay. And they put out a law. Well, you want to stay here back where you used to stay and you want to stay on your land? We understand. Well, we're over that land now. So that's fine. You could come and stay here. Just make sure you get that marriage done in 12 months if you're going to continue to do what you do. And if you don't, and we find out through a credible report or common fame, what is that? A credible report would mean like your church pastor is letting you know, or your mama or your dad or somebody told on you. They telling on you, saying that, hey man, Y'all in there shacking up, and we just had to come let you know. And what is common fame? Common people fame like being famous. That means if you just been walking out here every day together, hand holding and letting everybody know, oh yeah, we living together, we good. You know what I'm saying? That's my bae. Then yeah, somebody's gonna report your ass. They ain't gotta report you. Somebody say, oh, wait a minute, what? You said them niggas is what? Okay, all right, yeah. I'm gonna be down at the office tomorrow, letting them putting out a subpoena, not a subpoena. What do you call it? A notice to them niggas. Let's give a notice to them niggas, okay? You need to get this motherfucking marriage certificate. It said all Mary did was put legal contracts on property and land. Ugh. Wow. Because it marries them because they say they married you to the state. Man, woman, in the state or some shit. But so okay, let's keep going. So otherwise, and if you don't produce a certificate of your marriage, you could be treated as a vagabond and be expelled by the government. You could be expelled from the colonies. What does that mean now? You may take it be like, oh, be expelled by the colonies. They get just kicking you out. Yeah, but what happens to your land as they kick you out? Like you just said, laws on land. They just put a law on your land saying, hey, if you're gonna shack up, now you could be single, live on your land, and maybe not go under this, but yeah, you want to get married and want to start fucking and stay together, not to get married, just to stay together. If they just seen your ass staying together, you want to stay together, you want to get you some on a regular basis. Oh yeah, that's gonna cost you a contract for your land. Wedlock. I see over there, marriage, state property. Wow, boy, we on it. This is. I'm glad the FBA folks is gone, or they lurking in the background. This is high-minded individuals over here. People in my chat, high-minded individuals. Says I've been. Are you talking to Yaya? I've been thinking about that since Sam been putting out these receipts and shot. Yeah, yeah. So here we are. Here, if you get expelled, and I didn't think about that last time. Those who saw me go through this last time, I didn't think about that last time. Yeah, if you get expelled, what happens to your land? Huh. All right. Let's keep going. It says the law as the observance of Sunday. Now here we go. The law as the observance of Sunday was also made very strict, and heavy fines were imposed, together with forfeitures. You could forfeit your land for not going to church. Notice that's what you do for a land grab. You don't just, if you don't want to take it, you take the land over a nice looking city. You allow people to come back into said nice looking city, give them land area back. You might give them the land back because it was theirs anyway, and you're trying to get it from them a legal way, a certain way. You're not supposed to take it that way. And when they come back and stay on that bitch, and the ones that probably were still in there, you impose heavy laws on trying to get their land off of them in a legal, lawful like manner. Forfeitures for not going to church on a Sunday, and the property of the delinquents was to be levied by distress, and if the officer could not pay the penalties, he or she was to be publicly in the stocks for 3 hours. Like stocks, like bond. But this is different. This is a little different because this is really this is public humiliation. What they call, it starts with a P or something. It's down there, or some piliagro or something. But basically putting your head between two woods and let everybody laugh at you as they walk by. Because everybody was walking, not everybody, but people was moving slower at that time. It says the forfeiture went to the church wardens. The forfeitures went to the church wardens of the parish. So The church warden is not the pastor. That's the people over the pastor. But the more money you bring in and the more people that you tell on, who, because think about it, who's telling that you didn't go to church on Sunday? Peace Meta, Grand Rising. Who's telling that you didn't go to church on a Sunday? Likely the pastor. If your parents are indoctrinated enough, and it could, to be honest, it could be any one of the church members. That's what sucks too. And imagine knowing that this would happen, and then they put you on the public stocks, forfeit your shit, and then the next day you still got to go. The next Sunday you still showing up to church, and you don't know who told on you, and you got to sit there knowing you lost all your land, publicly humiliated, all this other stuff, and you go back into church, and you have to sit there and listen to everybody cheer and imagine how much negative energy is in the motherfucking church today. Hey boss, the 12 o'clock just canceled, comma. Sorry, she just let me know she stayed home from work, period. If you want to go do two of those cars today, you can, comma, because technically they were on the list for today, punk, today, period. And I'm talking about those premium vehicles, period. But you can also wait until Thursday if you're cool with Thursday. Hold on, y'all. Okay, no problem. Just reach back out and we'll get out to you for sure. Thank you. Exclamation point. All right, all right, all right. Business with my broke ass. All right. Um. So yeah, so the money, the penalties will go to the church wardens. And I was gonna say, do you think they're not those church wardens aren't paying the pastors very handsomely that very much so tell on you if you're not going to them churches, chipping them off some of that bread? And it says the parish who gave half of it to the informer, and half of the money would go to the informer by law. Half the money would go to the informer. The money would go to the church wardens. Half the church wardens would give half of it to the informer. So also think about that. You go into that church and somebody got you for the money. Somebody just got a little come up. And think about it like this: you forfeited your belongings. What if somebody's in there in the church with your coat on? With your motherfucking hat on and shit. Back then, nigga, it was hard to get some a hat and some clothes. You know what I'm saying? Probably. I mean, I don't know. We going by what they say, but you know, imagine that, or they got your rings on or something, and you got to sit there. You better go to church, nigga. Said I'm good on this. You give too much great information to be going at Tariq. FBA is not a group or corporation. It is bloodline based. Oh, we don't disagree with you, nor Tariq, but he also explained that whoever he's going in, it is not bloodline based, man. That's why we're here to fix all this with the proper information. Yeah, with the proper. My bad, I keep getting notifications. Um, with the proper information. And when I see somebody's Africanizing talking points that are Indians, that means you're playing a part in erasure. And if you're playing a part in erasure, like he was saying about FBA, people playing a part in erasing hip hop. When the FBA, when Fat Joe said hip hop was created 50-50 by Latinos, y'all trying to erase hip hop. You got to go what? You got to go back further. You can't stop at 1980. You got to look at the 1960s. I'm gonna do a whole documentary. Fuck Fat Joe. Right? You have to stop bad information. How come the king don't want his King Flex don't want his information? He calls himself king. And he calls y'all, in many cases, he makes fun of plebiscites. And y'all need to know what a plebiscite is. but it's really talking about common folk, saying common folks be babbling, but and not just common folks, but common folks who come together for a purpose or a reason for a good matter at hand. That's what a plebiscite is. Common folks coming together for a good reason or matter at hand, which technically that's what FBA is. It's really funny. FBA is a group of niggas with a common purpose. Let's look at plebiscite again, y'all. How he makes fun of the same group that he made. But I do appreciate you saying that I have game. I got a lot of game that I'm giving out leash, and that's one thing I said. Plebiscite. That's one thing I did say is, if anything, he's gonna possibly bring people towards me, and when they get to me, they're gonna be mad about the whole Tariq thing, but then they're gonna watch a video or see something, be like, God damn, that nigga got a lot of game. Cause there ain't nothing that I got out there that's just like slow, unless you go to like some of my older stuff that's just like slow with no good sources or that. No, I'm like, y'all know me. My videos are source after source after source after source after source after source after source. Put them all together in the source to it makes a whole story, make a story in 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And you be like, God damn, nigga, hold on. I'm still trying to take notes. So it's, you get over here and you be like, damn. But okay, plebiscite. A direct vote of the people, an expression of the will or pleasure of the whole people in regards to some matter already decided upon. Well, what's the matter already decided upon right now? The fact that they didn't give y'all reparations, the fact that they did y'all wrong, and the government is not giving you any legislation. They've already decided upon that. So you all get together as an expression of your will or pleasure as a whole people in regards to speak about a matter that is very important that has already been decided upon. And what is that? That's the common people. That's the common people. So when he says plebiscite babbling, he says the common people who get together about a matter and talk about it, who all are in a like mind, are babbling. Why would he say that? He's been saying plebiscite forever. I didn't know until yesterday. I'm just now looking it up. I have to feel ashamed that even I didn't know. So at some point, y'all got to understand that y'all got to feel ashamed that y'all don't know what the half the shit he talking about. Then you got to ask yourself, well, does he know what he talking about? Does he know what a plebiscite is? Does he know what ethnogenesis is? Because I don't want to lose my spot right here. Let me quit. We did this yesterday. I don't even want to pull up ethnogenesis documents and newspaper articles from white Russians and how these Russians was getting rid of other people's cultures using ethnogenesis. Now that's sinister. Now that I said it, I gotta let you see it real quick. The eyes tell no lies. The eyes tell no lies. Right here. Russian translation of the archaeological blah 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 Peabody Museum, the anthropological composition of the population of Central Asia, and the ethnogenesis of its people 30-40 years before your man used this word. Where did he learn this word? When you go look up the books, there's only 135 books. Notice they're all talking about the study of the ethnogenesis of the Crimean Tartars. Oh, the Siberian ethnogenesis, huh? Who continuously do ethnogenesis? See, you thought and y'all say too. He said we all had ethnogenesis, just like Jamaica. See, here Jamaican, he said, "Hey man, here's an ethnogenesis." I don't say, "Hey man." He makes it so damn simple. You think you really know what he's talking about. These people aren't starting something new out of blah blah blah. In many cases, these people have had genocide happen to them. These people have had forced genocides of their parents, and their children have been re-educated or colonized of the mind, turned into something new, as Tariq would say. They've become something new. We became something new. We were black aboriginals, but when the Africans came and the red Indians came and the Europeans came, we just started mixing together like a good old mash up of mashed potatoes. This is why we say do genealogy, and y'all champion that. I know I got my ancestors. I know I got some white people in me. How do you know? What story does Tariq give you? Because that was my ancestors was great. Do you believe that without any historic proof other than some modern day documentaries or something that's done told you that stupid shit? Without any historic proof, every and you know everybody wasn't great. Because I'll tell you how easily way you'll know everybody wasn't great. Let me watch this. They'll tell you that everybody was great because you was on a plantation, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay, but then they'll tell you, hey, you know that there was free people all the way up north, and there was some people who was free the whole time. Yeah, yeah. Are you putting two and two together yet? No. Well, if the people who were free were on not on plantations, but are you still gonna? But you know, you say the only time graping happened was on plantations. How can you say all black people in America had 20%? 20? Uh, come again? I know you FBA and you dumb. Let me say it again. So if there's free people and there's slave people, and you know this, and you say the only time the graping supposedly happened widespread with no proof was on the plantations, you can at least rule out that the free people wouldn't have got mixed with a European at least through that, right? Okay, I think I can see what you're saying. So that means your ethnogenesis were all 20, all the people, and you know what got with the Europeans. What's happening to that story right now? Did those people who ever never hit a plantation, did they just automatically pick up 20% DNA like COVID or something? And I sniffed it in, nigga. What's up, extra pure? I see over there. I've been saying he keep mixing the ethnogenesis with epigenetics. Yup. And that's just one piece to take it away. Don't let me pull out the document right here. And I got to, since this is all recorded. And you look at the slave population from 1790 to 1850, and then you go down here and they're like, hey, how many blacks and mulattoes were there? Oh, well, there was only 405,000 so-called mulattoes based on lookership, but 3.2 million so-called black Indians, right? Niggas. Hold on, y'all. Okay, bet that works for both of us. Let me let the person know, and then I'll send over all the information. Period. Thanks, boss. Great. I just got him to confirm. Exclamation point. What is the earliest time that day you would like for the detailer to be there? Question mark. All right, man. I could have lost the little deal, but at least now I pay my detailers pretty good. So that's about an $800 job. I typically pay 50%. So he would get $400 in one day's worth of work. But I told him I'm gonna give him 60%. So he probably get like 500 some dollars. And then he'll probably also get like these are like premium details on 2024 cars. They probably not even that dirty. And this dude's probably rich, living way up there in the goddamn suburbs. Super suburbs, I should say. He way up there. He ain't even suburb. He ain't even know where in the district. But I don't even know want to use the word district no more. That's a whole other thing. But uh but he'll also probably make like a cool tip. You know, people like that will probably tip you 50 to $100, especially after doing three cars. Probably gonna get $100 tip. He'll probably walk away and it's 500, $600, $650 today or Thursday. You know what I'm saying. So no, I make sure my people are good. You know, when I put them out there. Yeah, I see you done. They said tips should be good. I know, right? And that number is only those they were able to count. Yep, exactly. This number is only those that they were able to count during certain times. It doesn't even include in Oklahoma, and not everybody even went on the census. So, how many people are in your ethnogenesis? I just already whittled it down to 405,000 possibles. And you can't even say that because this mulatto wasn't based on any biological information either. It wasn't based on genealogical records. It was based upon a census record looking at you say, oh, you look kind of light skinned, nigga. Mulatto. And you could point, that's my parents right there. They dark. Mulatto, nigga. Shit, what the fuck you think? It's white folks possibly, or some Moors or whoever taking these motherfucking census records at the time. They was going off of what they was gonna go off of. So your ethnogenesis is whittled down even further. Oh man. And then don't let me get started on how slavery was mostly in the South, right? And then you got to think, y'all. Come on now, let's get time. This is genealogy month or Black History month or my Indians are the motherfucking shit month. That's what it is. The Indians are the motherfucking shit month. The 13 colonies map. So y'all remember slavery was just over here until 1803 at least, westward expansion. That means everybody living to the, if you can tie to your family in any of the territories before them niggas or established governments in them hoes, like I can in Mississippi and Louisiana areas and stuff like that. You knew you been there. But even in the colonies where slavery, so that will is your slavery story, at least for everybody on the west of this, to just from 1812 after the war of 1812 or 1815, 1812, the Red Stick War, the Creek War. And they start setting up the states 1820 in Alabama or whatever. Mississippi a little bit before, but long story short, that just means them niggas was only about, if you want to count their lawful slavery, what, 40, 50 years? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. And that's if it happened. But even then, we was in power in the college. So it was, well, that was, they say 1865 after. Well, okay, we're just gonna go by their story. But even then, you forgot that only these states mostly had slavery. Most of the states north of this wasn't as harsh on the slavery. When we look at the records, you see your biggest numbers: Maryland, 103,000 in 1790, North Carolina, 100,000, South Carolina, 100,000, Virginia, 293,000. All the other little states, little small numbers. 2,000, 8,000, 11,000. But if you go look at them like the opposite, New York and New Jersey, and when you look under free, New York, 40,000, free, 20,000, 61,000 Maryland, 16,000 Delaware. So now now your slavery story of who could have been raped is even less, man. So that's even less people that was on a plantation. And then we gonna chop that up. We're gonna chop that up some more. So now in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia area, what were the slave codes? What were these laws? Well, most of these were just forced apprenticeship through government-backed loans through baptismal records, which means they were indentured servitude of young people, but up until a certain age. They was only that up until a certain age. Did some graping possibly go on? You know why some might have, and if it did, who it possibly happened to that they don't want you to know that it was doing? They were graping minor children, apprentices. Now, when y'all use that whole they were graping story, you probably should tread lightly because some other people who might have been graped or on a plantation, and that's only if they did. And I still don't, you know what? You know what? I'm sorry. We're going to fuck with that story a little bit further because we recently also found there was laws against the bad treatment of your slave. Being found to treat your slave badly would cause you to lose your money. Have to pay back that loan you got, slave master. You're so because that runs into health insurance, all that shit, workers' comp insurance, vision insurance. Got to keep you healthy. We found newspaper or at records for that. So think about that. So like, um, the ones that did have an apprentice was not supposed to be graping them. Some may have still went on, but who were they graping? Children. They could have been graping prisoners of war as well, if it did happen. And the reason why I said it's possible it may happen is because me and my close friend, I did history. He has a Lisa Dunn. She was known to have her first 5 kids early with her so-called a dude with the last name Tyson. Um, and she was like 14 when she had her first child. Now was Tyson Tyson was supposed to be a YT folk, and technically some of they folks look like they could have been mixed because they got a bunch of the old photos of them, but it's kind of hard to say. Sometimes we'll peg it off of the light skin and certain features, but sometimes that wasn't a mix because when they get older, it's kind of hard to tell. But their word, according to their family records, they said that they've had this split because she had 5 kids with Tyson, a so-called YT dude. Then she had 5 kids with when she got older with a guy named last name Gibson, which yeah, know the Gibsons. Um and and so there has been this split between that family on who's the heirs of that property. Almost like what it is, like this whole land grab shit, right? And so we're starting to wonder, was it really a 13, 14-year-old girl who got raped? And we know how sick these folks are. If you go to any, don't get me wrong. So if you go to any one of these, like, child pet patrol, you go to these kind of channels where you have these, um, where you have these channels where these people go and they capture predators. Man, this looks. I feel like they're starting to take removal out of them, and I don't like the fact that they remove them because I feel like that's yeah. I know a lot of these predators work in high places, so I feel like that's a predator that's having them removed because having these people be busted. I don't even see these channels no more. But typically, you see the faces that's coming up on my motherfucking screen. These are those people, right? They've been doing the same shit for a long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have grape some. But you got to find that in your tree, a YT one, because there's many of us that haven't found hardly any YTs. We find mostly melanated folks. Okay, melanated Europeans if we do. But a lot of these Spaniards and a lot of these folks, they do have some of those tendencies. It could have went down. Don't blanket it. I've already just whittled it down to just a small area for your mat for most of your time. And we're just now, and think about this too. We're just now getting to the propagation. We're gonna get back to it over here. We're just now getting to the propagation of the church and the spreading of the what you call it, and to start indoctrinating outside of North Carolina, South Carolina, shit like that. So and but they did say all the Negro and Indian slaves at that time had already kind of been through some of it in that document, but we're getting to that, but it's like mid 1700s. So you're talking about your slavery still already whittled down to just like mid 1700s, even in this area, to like 1865, less than 100 years. I mean, a little over 100 years, and only certain people. And then slavery was just forced apprenticeships up until age 21, and then from that point they would be free, or free, or adults, you're free at 21, right? Ain't that funny? I see how that correlation happened now. I didn't never realize why that 21 was the age was there. And now we say, well, that's when you can drink. Oh, okay, cool. But technically the 21 age was there because that's when you got set free from your indenture, from your apprenticeship. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. These things are still here, but they've just been converted. Mm. I say 18 you're adult, 21 you can drink. But The other people who were slaves were prisoners of war or people who broke the law. You weren't supposed to be over there beating your slave like crazy. In fact, if you were to beat your slave the wrong way, you could be fined. In fact, who were the people who were getting beat? The people who were getting beat would be people who had lost, fugitive runaways. If you That's how they got people to fuck with you. There was laws that as a landowner, and we got it in newspapers. There was laws that, and I think it's this one right here. There was laws that as a landowner, you were obligated to when you found a runaway, like somebody, it said a strange Negro or Indian or other slave, it said, if you find a strange person in your property or walking by your property, you don't know him, you're obligated to grab him and beat him 39 times. Otherwise, you could be fined. Mm. Imagine putting people against each other. Imagine you seeing an Indian walking by and he's trying to get away and you don't turn him in and they come give you a fine. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll take the fines, but those fines will pile up and they'll do something else. See how they putting the people against the people, playing games? There's a puppet master putting people against the people. Hmm. Let's keep going on this motherfucking document. Let me get my pointer. So we just talked about the laws that's on Sunday. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Sorry, y'all. I like doing this silhouette thing because I like to smoke while I do this, but I won't do this all the time. I just do it sometimes. So they had to threaten their people in the colonies because they were being attacked. Yep. Mm. And yeah, you know what, y'all? They had a clause in here, and it's on here that as a law that was like, um, what was I gonna say? It was almost like a draft, like a draft. Like if you lived in this colony, you had to be a part of this, like the draft, like the army. They passed laws in the colony making them carry guns on Sunday. Yep. And you know what? I have what's funny too on there, yeah. I got a newspaper document. It's not this one. I believe it's a different one. It might be this one, but I think it's a different one I found. Where they say that it was illegal in order to quell, yeah, it's not this one. In order to quell like uprisings, because you know that's a place where a lot of niggas will be gathered together, right? Y'all could conspire to go against the Church of England, right? They said that they would make it to where no guns were ever allowed in any church building whatsoever, no arms. In fact, if you ever want to have them, they got to be outside certain amount of whatever feet. I said, damn, is that why the security guard always sat certain amount of feet away from the church, nigga? Literally, that shit has been imposed and is still in practice today. Some little trivial shit like that. They wouldn't let the black nigga security guard. Did this happen in any of y'all's churches? This happened in my church. The security guard was not allowed to go in that bitch with that gun. But somebody needed to secure the premises because people kept breaking in the cars. I was like, wow, man. This is wild. Mm. So let's keep going. You said precursor to gun-free zones. Yeah. Cause that definitely is a gun-free zone. And they made them mostly places where we gonna be gathered together. Schools. Oh, it's a lot of niggas at that school together. Yeah, nothing up in there. Which makes sense as kids. There's no need to have them, but they was like, yeah, none of there. But they probably use that as a springboard for the others, right? They use you don't want guns in there with your babies now. Right. Yeah. 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 That's why we passing the act of guns and laws in public places to keep them out of schools in churches and other places where you niggas be gathering. But after schools, your babies are precious. That's what they do today. Yeah. Hmm. So let's keep going. And it says, and half of the poor, it was allowed to dress the meat in families and dress and sell it to public houses or whatever. So if you didn't go to church on Sunday, you could be lose your stuff. Again, people are living in these common law marriages and they need to be married. Now we're about to talk about the establishment of the Church of England. Okay. And this is going to tie in the church wardens, which is the East Zion District, which is in Oklahoma City. And for those who just came in, CR the Great, I don't know if you know about the East Zion District, but let me show you. That's our topic. Church wardens in Oklahoma. Uh, I'll do this. And we've already made some crazy ties with the wording, and we haven't even looked at the word district yet. But we're talking about the East Zion District, and I told people that the churches. I remember my aunt telling me that they paid them $10,000 a month when I was arguing with her about where is the money going when that's going to the church. She shouldn't have told me that because I still remember that I wouldn't be looking at this shit today. And this is the dude that's over it. And of course, I looked him up, and of course, I found out that he's he's in a fraternity. Of course, why wouldn't he be? Of course, he's amazing. Come on now. Come on now. You don't think that was easily gonna be on there, right? But on top of that, we also went over how you end up having a this is all voluntary, without us going all too deep into the weeds again, and going back into it. Um, where's the big one? There it is. That you all are doing this voluntarily. And not only did I show this voluntarily here, but we also showed that in a certain document from back then, right here, yellow, voluntarily in the 1700s, giving your contributions up to pay for this enslavement in a sense, or apprenticeship, schoolhouse apprenticeships, right? The schoolhouse is just you going through be apprenticeship right now today. Same shit. Being funded through your birth certificates now. And now and just so I can show y'all on the real quick, I got a church warden right here. Let me just show you. Let's do this since it's so powerful at this moment. This was just a random thing I found, and it was just like, hey, Benjamin Lauder, whoever this is up here, he from this place wherever, Yaman has a son born this day, right? Appears by a let me do this. Appears by a certificate signed by the minister and church wardens. So this in 1725, my bad. In 1725, first connections. What happened to my damn? I don't know why they be doing that sometimes. Real weird. But 17, one of the first connections I can see that they were already in a sense planning. It's like if they didn't plan on making the birth certificate the thing, but since baptismal records were already that, they already had themselves tied to doing birth certificates. And at some point you can see how it would progress to that. Well, you know what, we were doing baptismal records, but to be honest, everybody that has babies keep coming up and getting a certificate from the church because they're here at the church, so might as well make it a law, right, to have a birth certificate. I don't know if it's a law, but it may not even be a law. You may volunteer to get the birth certificate done. Yeah, put my name on there and take my estate. Damn, Moors be right on some shit. They just ain't explaining it right. Go ahead and take it and teach my kid later on in life, through the school system, to work in your corporations, and all many different shares of that money will go back to you in taxes and everything else. And y'all got a big loan to create it. The corporations don't pay taxes like everybody else. They got all these deductions. Well, yeah, that's kind of what it's supposed to be. They supposed to be using that money to shoe you niggas in, unfortunately. And me too. I was one of those. All right, let's go back. Where my damn? Here you go. Now we're gonna get to the creation of the church. How they gonna do the? How they gonna set this hierarchy up? Oh, hold up, right here. Let me do this so we can follow together. All right, let's follow this together. It says a law. Damn. A law. Don't undo that. Damn. A law which stood on the books until 1741 established the Church of England. Here, this setting forth that the North Carolina was a member of the Kingdom of Great Britain, and that the Church of England was the only established church to have any public encouragement in it, and expressing gratitude to the society for performing or promoting the Christian religion in foreign parts. Now, what does that mean? The society, sorry, y'all, my TikTok, I knew something changed up. Birth certificates are a scam, crazy. We thought it was simple documentation. Exactly, exactly. We just thought it was just, hey man, what's up, Monet? Monet just joined. My bad, y'all. I think I must have missed it. It must have had the little puzzle thing up, and I wasn't looking at TikTok Studio. I had up my. I see. It's kind of one of these things. I'm probably gonna have to give me a second monitor. I might have I had another iPad that I could have used, um, I'm probably gonna have to get a second monitor at some point to where, or another iPad where you can use it like a second monitor, to where I can see both my TikTok live stream software and my restream software, because my restream software is where my YouTube comments are. So I got to be looking there so I can see what my YouTube folks are saying. But my TikTok, and luckily with TikTok, it has like this overlay design with the comments, so I can see their comments overlaid on top of my restream. So I don't really need to look at the TikTok studio. The only reason, two reasons I need to look at it: one, if they ever do that damn puzzle, and two, if people try to request up, that's the only way I can actually see. But people are starting to come back in. Appreciate y'all coming back in. Hope you're feeling good and having a good rising. Definitely. I hope you are too, Monet. Hope you're having an amazing rising. Share the live again, fam. Thanks. Appreciate that, Jackson. And you on both sides. Appreciate that. So yeah, and I think we had like 40 some people in here. That kind of sucks. We'll get them, we'll get people back in here. People are kind of slowly coming in. Um, I might turn. My face is all right. Turn the light on. What's I guess I turn. I gotta adjust my camera setting. Okay. What's happening, folks? It's kind of bright, but I don't like to be too bright. All right, man. That's not too bad. Okay. So let's continue. Sorry about that, TikTok fam. The people that's coming back in, your boy missed a little puzzle piece, and they threw my shit off. So, but whatever. That allows us to get the algorithm back going. I had some restrictions up anyway, so oh well. But I had some cool people in here, man. So hopefully they all come back. Okay, so but I still got 30 people on the YouTube side and some people on the Twitter side. They don't tell me who to on the Twitter side. There might be a way for me to see, but they don't really tell me. It does show me like extra pure. I see you over there in Twitter side. It does show me your comments, which is cool. But okay, yeah. So I don't know what all was where it left off. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back through this paragraph, and we'll go from there. So it says a law which stood on the books until 1741 established the Church of England. Here, this setting forth that North Carolina was a member of the Kingdom of Great Britain, and that the Church of England was the only established church to have public encouragement in it, and expressing gratitude to the society for promoting the Christian religion in foreign parts. Now, how do you promote something? How do you advertise something? You put it as many places as you can, right? With your own money. So with your own money, you built the churches on every corner that indoctrinated your people with your own money voluntarily. You built the churches in Indian foreign territories, based off of influence of a foreign Negro that was bought by somebody who lived amongst you and acted like you, went, learned some shit, came back, propagated it to you, made you give up the money for them to go do this. Yeesh. 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 Peace, Badu. Protestants. They were slaves. And you pay to put people on a church on every corner. That's a good advertisement, because if you wanted to advertise the newest movie coming out back then, you'd put it on a billboard on every corner. Same concept. Another way is you send Jehovah's Witnesses to your door. You send people door to door doing mission work. You don't even have to pay these niggas no more. They so indoctrinated, they'll do it for free. No, no, don't pay me. I want to go teach people about the Lord every day for free for you. Ugh, sheesh. Talk about being controlled and led down the wrong way through people who looked like you, who wasn't you purposely. Ish. That's the only thing I can say with the whole delineation thing. We don't have to delineate. We know who we are. I can at least say the heat put on immigrants is fair. Not necessarily the immigrants in the West Indies. those many of those are our people. They are. I got documents. We got to look at it now because there's gonna be people detractors on that. We got documents where people were kidnapped and sent to the West Indies, and they said that these are Indians right here, right here. Yep. Let me do this. Man, how come this don't never work when you do it? Oh, I might have screenshotted this with this already on there. Okay, never mind. All right, I'm like, why the hell is it not letting me delete that? But okay, but it says right here, he concluded that the best method or defense of the was to capture as many Indians as possible and as many of them as possible. North South Carolina area right here, South Carolina. Okay, the governor was saying he concluded that the best method was to capture as many Indians as possible and sell them into slavery into the West Indies. Okay, let me do that with the red right there into the West Indies, kidnapping, taking our kids. But also, I can also go to where uh when Columbus got here, he said that we was already kicking it, going up and down in canoes from South Carolina, Florida, Yucatan, Cuba, Bahamas. So we was already together, whether they was doing that or not. But if you need even more proof on us going down there forcefully, this thing keeps saying "oops, connection lost." I don't know why I keep doing this, but here's that too. Okay, so and it says a price was fixed for every Indian the settlers might bring into Charlestown. We're looking at Charlestown right now, y'all. From which port was transported to the West Indies, right here. I know I got all this shit on here. From which port they transported to the West Indies. Okay, hold on. To the West Indies, right there, as well as it says it right there. Okay, in Charlestown, transporting them. All right, in the newspapers. What's up, Holly Evans? Salute. Appreciate you joining in the live. So yeah, so we know that that's the case. So we're not talking about those kind of people living amongst us because they would have the same kind of heart we got. They would have the same kind of soul and spirit we got. It's some foreign born Negroes from across the water and not from Africa. Some corrupted Moors, some corrupted here Europeans, okay, that can be corrupted to do the bidding of those folks. So let's go back. Get off of there. Let's go back. Now we're trying to get to this establishment of this church. And so we said promoting the Christian. I hate when I do that. I gotta do this. That's on me. So we're talking about they just talking about how they were promoting the Christian religion in foreign parts or Indian territory through the money of you or your own money. And it says the law divided the part of the state then settled into 9 parishes as follows. So they said the law divided part of the state, then settled into 9 parishes. So we get into the creation of parishes. And it says here, uh, as follows. It says the Eastern Parish. Whoops. I wanted to get a different color. The Eastern Parish, like, come on now, what the hell? The Eastern Parish of the Chowham precinct. Notice it says the Eastern, then we're gonna get to the Southwest Parish, right? The Southwest. What is this called again, guys? Damn it. It's called the East Zion District. Ah, we're getting a little close. Is a precinct a district? That's where I got to. That's how I had to ask. I was like, well, what is a district? East Zion District? Consolidated district. Every word means something, even association. But let's look up what district means. What the hell is my internet not working or something? Oh, hold on. No, just tripping. Just tripping. Just tripping. Electronics tripping. Uh and they think and people think AI robots are gonna be able to take over the world. Them motherfuckers will stop there and start glitching on your ass. The robot was about to get me, nigga, but it started glitching. Electronics never work 100% right, nigga. Shit. Okay. 1610. Territory under the jurisdiction of a lord, guys, or officer. Who did I say? Who does it say the Palatine is? The Lord's proprietors. The East Zion district is the East Zion jurisdiction of the Lord's proprietors or the Palatine. Okay? And the Grand Assembly. And those districts are being created. Now, let's look at these districts, y'all. The Chowan district. Now, I didn't look this up before. I just guessed it, but let's just see. You know what? I'm curious if I have anything. No, I don't have anything on Chowan. They named the district after an Indian tribe. Why? Why would the Church of England and the Lord's proprietors and the Grand Assembly decide to go back? How the hell I'm at the top? Go back here. Again, we're going to promote the religion in foreign parts, Indian territory. And in this state that I'm creating out of Choctaw Nation called Alabama, I'm going to set up 12 districts. I'm going to name them after your Indians I'm erasing. Eventually, we're going to put Siberians in these places, buffer classes. So you'll forget and you'll be like, wait a minute, those are the Chowans. Those are the Pasquotank. Hold on, damn it. Get the cooking, and next thing you know, you gotta adjust. That's your Pasquotank precinct, the Northeast Pasquotank precinct, East Zion precinct. What is Zion? Was Zion at some point possibly Indian um tribe or used phrase, or maybe they just use something different, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. I don't think there's Zion Indians, but let me Google it. You never know. Hell shit. It's only a Google you can try, right? Anasazi in the Paiute. Wild. Wild. Erased but not forgotten. Real talk. Said, man, this is nasty work, and gives them different counties under the treaty. Pasquotank. Wow. I did not know it was Zion Indians. Wow. The East Zion District says the East Indian land mass that we're giving over towards the Lord's proprietors, in a sense, for control, to set up these churches for control. Hyde Parish, Craven Parish. But what you'll find is it's a vestry of 12 men named for each parish. This is the setup of the government as well. Okay. Among the vestrymen, and I looked up what a vestry is. It just says it's a room at the church. Let's just look at it. So you know this shit started at the church. The politics, everything. Vestry. It's a room or outbuilding attached to a church for keeping the of clerical vestments and other church property. Clerical vestments. What is vestments? Liturgical garment worn by a clergy during divine services. Clothes. Okay, so a vestry would be a room or outbuilding attached to a church, usually for keeping the clothes and other church property. Probably whatever says a dressing, like a dressing room, and they call them vestrymen. So, but it says noun, use or neuter of clothes of garments. But when you come down here, it says the vestry also often served as a meeting room for transaction of parish, business, or local government. Right there. And that the word was retained in non-liturgical churches. I'm gonna have to look up what the word liturgical means now. As the name of a separate room used for Sunday school prayer meetings, hence also transferred secular use in reference to the meeting or board or local voters. Um, so yeah, shit, I heard Miko say we descend from them too. In Catholicism, altar boys handle those items. Really, that unlocks a lot of understanding. Really said oh, you said Yamas Seiko said they descend from the Anasazi. I see that and see what you're saying, crew, right now. That's wild. I'm gonna have to look into that. And he said, and Jackson said that like a lot of understanding the Catholics made the altar boys be the vestrymen. So you know what? I'm glad you said that. Glad you said that because when I looked up, it didn't make sense to me why I saw one of the Lord's proprietors, as you can see, Churchwarden here, and it says Thomas Penn Esquire as one of the proprietors. And I said, for the first time, I said, you know what? What is an Esquire? Shield bearer, attendant young man in training to be a knight, groom, um, shield bearer, guardsman, shield for initial EC. Originally, the feudal rank below knight. Okay, so I thought it was young kids, but it's not that young, but it is pretty young. So it'd probably be more like a early 20s person or something, late teens, um, kind of person going to be a knight. Below rank of a knight, since broadened to general title of courtesy or respect for the educated and professional classes, especially later in the United States, regarded as belonging particularly to lawyers, Esquire. But and niggas be using that thing Esquire. I don't even know if they know if they know they're using it right, then shit. And now you gotta look up what a knight is. So he's a person to becoming a knight. What's a knight? A boy, a youth, a servant. So no, when you say that, you were still right. Yeah, little. So in the Catholic Church is the secretary or the armor bearer. So the secretary, and then maybe like the secretary's kids or the knights. But this one, okay, knight, a word commonly by nearby Germanic. Let's keep reading. Boy, young lad, boy, youth, lad. That's the one that I thought. I thought that was under that other one, but that was a person in training to be this though. And so typically you would still be a boy or a young lad in training to be a knight, which is still a young person, which is an esquire. So an esquire is a young boy who's eventually going to be a knight, still young, of unknown origin, the plural of Middle English, whatever. The meaning military follower of a king or other superior is from 1100. It began to be used in a specific military sense in the Hundred Years' Wars and gradually rose to importance until it became a rank in the nobility in 1600s, 1500s. Hence, in modern British use, a social privilege or honorary dignity conferred to. But so they could have moved the age of a knight up at some point, but at some point, it mostly women because it's more of a title. It seems like now a common jocularism. I don't even know that word. Was to call a craftsman a tradesman, a knight of the and the name some object associated with his work. Knight of the brush for painter. Makes me start to think about the whole apprentice thing. Knight in shining armor is a figurative term of a man who rescues a damsel in distress in romantic things. Okay. So maybe that brings a little bit of whatever. Knights of the Templar. I didn't think of it. Yeah, okay, yeah, I forgot about them. Yes, the altar boys become Knights of Columbus. It's a wicked pipeline. Knights of Columbus said, did you work on the Knights Templars? That's wild. They were dying at 30. They had to be young. Oh, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. What this etymology making me rethink everything. I know, right? I know that's right. All right. So yeah, East Zion District, they playing games. So just let's just read the word all the way because I'm gonna look at what consolidated means real quick. So East should mean, I wonder how they chose directional. We may think it means like east because we was on the east side of Oklahoma City. I ain't gonna lie. So I don't know if they chose that because we was east, the east part of Oklahoma County or Oklahoma whatever. It might have been just that trivial, but could be something else. Zion, the name of an Indian, so the east area of Oklahoma where we're taking over these Indians, or we at least assuming this name, whether that's their area or not, that they used to be. And it could have been because hold on, man. No. Because who was in Oklahoma before the Choctaws, Chickasaws, and all of us moved out there, right? Right now, it's showing these Oklahoma tribes. Um, you know what? I know what map I can look at. Mm, Indian Territory Library of Congress map. This won't show them all, but let me see what it will show. Pre Oklahoma. There's Kansas, Osage, Missouri, Panties, Paducah. What I say? Anasazi and Paiutes. Mm, let me see. Paiute. Indian Territory map. Indian Territory map. Mm, mm, mm. They, and I don't know if this is modern times. Like, who did they move out of that area as they came in and colonized it? Paiute, India. Okay, I'll look more into it some other time. I'm not sure. They could have migrated to what those current maps are showing. They could have been kicked out of Oklahoma to make way for my folks, through some bullshit. So, and some could still be there and also taking over. And some chose to leave or something. You know how it go, how the story go now on that shit. Let's go back to this. So they got 12 vestrymen. Among them, they got noted names: George Charles Eden, Governor Edward Mosley, Governor Thomas Pollock, William Mall, Francis Foster. He spells it with two F's. Maurice Moore, Moore. Ain't no, we know what the hell that was. Richard Sanderson, Nathaniel Chevin, Tobias Knight. He had the last name Knight, huh? And there are people with the last name Knight, huh? Because I grew up with some Michael. I think his name was Michael Knight or somebody in school. I grew up with a Knight to a degree. I wasn't like that cool with him, but I do remember a Knight. Foster Jarvis, Christopher Gale, William Hancock, and Richard Harvey, like Steve Harvey. That's why I did that. It says the vestrymen and immense had immense authority. The vestrymen had immense authority, undreamed of in these days. Let me do this. Undreamed of in these days, and the vestrymen who the dissenter and the vestrymen, man, I want to read this whole thing because I will get caught up in this one. This one get you going. I mean, it keeps going. They start talking about the laws, enemy Indians. Yeah, this is where they talk about the enemy Indians and how you're forced. You were forced in this right here. Let me just read through this part real fast. right here at the top. Let's just read through this part real fast. Provisions Okay. Provisions was made for what was called the trial of small and means causes by a couple of justices, these being under the value of 40 shillings. An act regulating the militia. This is so ignore the top part. That's from something from above, but right here. An act regulating the militia or military, right? Of the province, because they don't have it's just a small province. They just got a militia, so the act for regulating the military of the province should that should consist of free men between the ages of 16 and 60. Ain't that the draft? What's the ages of the draft? What's the ages of the draft? Well, you'll get drafted between these ages, but moving up to 25, but it used to be 60. So think about that. So let's go back. Anybody between the ages of 16 and 60, and captains were commissioned. The militia were required to appear, to be trained and exercised in arms, and should be provided with the good gun, well fixed sword, and at least 6 charges and powder and a ball. And if they failed to appear, going AWOL, should be fined 5 shillings and a half, such and a half as much for failure to have proper equipment. Soldiers who resisted the lawful officers or failed to obey commands should be punished, and at the discretion of the captain, by tying the neck and heels, running the gauntlet, riding the wooden horse, or in such like manners, and in other persons, or in such like manners, and if any person during that time, let me do this so I can read it. If any person during that time of alarm or expedition against the enemy Indians, okay, if any person, what is that? So you can, if you refuse the commands of the captain after they've drafted you and you all the freemen of the province, he will put you through these punishment. And if any person during the time of alarm of or expedition, thinking about that, you were required to fight against enemy Indians if they came into your province, but also if they chose to go outside the province to go do something, an expedition, you were required to go armed. And if anyone during this time of alarm or expedition against the enemy Indian should desert his flag or be disobedient, he could be court-martialed and punished, but not to the extent of taking his life. There was thus early trouble in the land titles, and so there were very strong laws to prevent disputes about land already surveyed. Well, that's some heavy shit. That's some heavy, 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 heavy shit, right? So I wanted to go into that, but we were really on. So now you kind of got an idea. So now when you think about the vestrymen, the church wardens, the people who were sent to be schoolmasters over your children, create these schools, baptize them, and they would give those baptismal records to the people above them, these people, in a sense, which at that time, which is now the state, but back then it would have been these people who would take out loans against you. Now they don't take out loans against you. They just take $10,000 or more a month from the church funds for you all to be part of this district, this East Zion, this East Indian named lordship place that they've colonized the district is lordship. The East Paiute Indians territory they mapped out and decided to place 12 vestrymen. Let's look at what consolidated means in association. My stomach growling. 1510 to combine into one body, which is what we figured. And they said a consolidated district. So the East Zion consolidated district. So to me, that tells me all of the districts are under all of the other places that they call districts are under one lordship, which we knew that the Church of England, which we've been reading, right? Consolidate solid, to make solid from suffix pi whole, meaning to make firm or strong, is 1530s, whatever. Now let's just look up association. It could be likely be what we know. Action of coming together for a common purpose. Their common purpose is to mission. So, form of assimilated form of unite with and all that. Okay. So the East Zion Consolidated District Association, because you wouldn't put words on there like that, and especially that many if you didn't mean something for it, is the location where the Paiute Indians and Asazi have been, which they've made the lords proprietors the head of. They've put that as their jurisdiction. They're the head. They've placed jurisdiction over their land. That's how we do it. Okay. Is the lords placing jurisdiction over the land of the Paiute Indians, as well as there's other districts around them in other name formats that they've consolidated to in a collection of a body association, which they all agree on the same things on a particular mission. They're all basically saying they're all doing it. They're the Lord's proprietors here to colonize the Indians, and they're on a mission, and their mission is to colonize the Indians and make them forget who they are. That's how it reads. That's really how it reads. We are the East. We are creating a jurisdiction on the east area of where the Paiute Indians are under the Lord's proprietors or the Palatine. And in that, we have other districts of Indian areas that we all have a common goal in missionizing the Indians, and they pay for it through their contributions voluntarily. And they pay for it through their contributions voluntarily. And that 501c3, I bet if I look a little bit further in there, there's probably something in there that tells me that same shit. Okay. So we have that, and then we look at their mission. Now that we've done some studying on some real information on how this kind of came about, the East Zion District, Consolidated District, is a self-governing fellowship of autonomous churches. So the district, which is an area of where the Paiute Indians that they've colonized and gave lordship jurisdiction over, has a collection of churches who all self-govern themselves and are doing their own thing. All of the churches that comprise of this association are free, independent, self-governing, and autonomous. It's like they got the paperwork. They're like, look, we're gonna have to put you down here on paperwork. This 501c3 is basically saying, hey, y'all voluntarily decide to do this, and in volunteering to do this church shit, we ain't gonna make y'all pay taxes. Um, and you're governing yourself. You're willfully doing this. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that further with that 501c3, but that's just the idea I'm getting. Who voluntarily, and it says there are a bunch of churches who voluntarily decided to associate themselves to do a greater ministry. They're like, you volunteered to this. You voluntarily decided to associate yourself with that nigga, man. Ain't nobody tell you to do this. And so you want to do this. You want to do what? Support the missions. You want to support these missions. You said you wanted to teach. It was cool for us to teach your youth to be workers in our corporations. You said that, and for us to get a good share off of that. You said that. You can say it. Stop doing that. Maybe it won't happen. That's what they're saying. The object of this association shall be to execute the measures into the spread for the spread of the gospel, the support of missions, and education at home and abroad, to strive for the advancement of Christian fellowship and brotherhood throughout the earth. The objectiveness of the associations are implemented in the following areas. This is what they do. They do fellowship, making you niggas come together, education and administration, telling you niggas what you need to learn in that Bible, and administering over all the property and information and money that comes into that bitch. Worship and evangelism, controlling what you're singing and how you're doing your things. We got to make it happy for you niggas. And corporate, no, cooperative ministries. I'm not sure about that, but it's working together, I guess. We can thank God for helping early Baptist leaders recognize the value of the association. Don't he look pretty mean? Look at those eyes, y'all. Look at that face. Something sinister really rubs me the wrong way with that look. I could be just tripping. Something very sinister though. Mr. Booker, and I bet if we looked up some Bookers, we can probably like Cory Booker, all right, the politician. I bet there's some, I bet his line of some of his Bookers are not, maybe not all, but some of his Bookers are probably them Europeans that came. Now think about this: a corrupt white person that marries into your line and makes some mixed babies, and then those babies start mixing back out and whatever. You can visually see that in your tree. How hard is it for you to tell if a Negro from a foreign background gets with a person back then and continuously tries to mate with other people who were foreignly born or were born here but still were from foreign places, and somehow they knew this shit and we didn't, and they were somehow keeping together with each other. Like, I don't know if it's that serious, but like it would be harder to detect them. Like they say, marry in to get your inheritance. Whole time I'm thinking in my head, oh yeah, them white folks married in, got my inheritance, whited it on out. What about the niggas that did it? Said devil. Nah, you tripping. From doing research to lived experience, I can't trust every Indian, right? The true definition of organized crime. Man, it's been black versus black, the whites, the chess pieces on the field, the sources of the black forces, man. She said, right? Wild. It would be hard to know at this point. Like, man, like for the one European I had, I would have to start looking at all day. The two I've had or so, I definitely had to start looking at them. Restreams, like, you didn't pay. I didn't know I was paying y'all, nigga. I thought I canceled that shit. I don't have my logo up. I ain't been using that motherfucker logo. That's all it did was give you access to, I mean, it gave you some other stuff, but the only thing I care about was logo. Okay. But when you look at this, I didn't read the whole thing because it's talking about his life. He went to a seminary. I really should, because this his life is really probably the let's go through this real fast. His life is really probably the footsteps on how to become or how they do end up where they end up. Dr. Booker grew up in a large family and developed a strong foundation for family. Dr. Booker was raised by God fearing parents who instilled in him trust and believe in God. At an early age, he made a personal profession of faith and was baptized. And I'm gonna say this too: all these pastors be Masons. And I was telling this to my homeboy yesterday. I said, do you think the Lord only goes into the ears of Masons and tell them that he called them to the pulpit? How come he ain't never been in my ear or any of the homeboys' ears that I know? He ain't calling them niggas. He don't know how to get to them phone lines. Okay. Yeah, this niggas was called to preach, huh? Every Mason's called to preach? Huh. It's funny. Said his life, great point. His life sounding boring, boo. Mission Shriners, nice templates. Let's keep going. It says, after receiving his school education from Frederick Douglass High School, that's right. My dad literally lives like around the corner from that. And my mom's grandma's house not too far. I grew up around there. For those Oklahoma City Noahs, Carverdale, okay. But it says Oklahoma City, he accepted his call to the ministry in 1981. He accepted his call to the ministry. Oh no, I'm sorry, y'all. Now we got to look at this a little bit different. Who called them? Who called them? They want to take well. No. They're telling you the truth, y'all. The Lord. Hold up. One of the proprietors, right? Hold up. Uh. Oh yeah. The Palatine, the nigga ain't lying to you. Who called you to the altar? The Lord called me to the altar, nigga, and I accepted to get paid. What? What do you mean? What? We breaking these niggas down. I'm that young Negro that the Lord called. How did you get to know this Lord? Let's keep listening to his life. So gotta watch it. Man, these people putting it plainly. Putting it plainly. Let me go back. He accepted his call to the ministry in 1981. By that time, he would have been how old? Let's see. Let's say how old he was. Okay, let's keep going. Knowing and accepting, that this was his life's long endeavor, Dr. Booking became. He said, "Oh, you called the boy? I've been waiting for that call my whole life." Okay. Began his educational journey at Bishop College of Dallas, Texas. Damn. How he making the moves? How I'm making similar moves like him, but completely different. My moves are completely opposite to the way he did it. But I came here too. In May of 1985, he received a bachelor's degree with a major in religion and a minor in Christian education. That was in the right order, y'all. I'm about to show you. To call some country born Negro, causing them to be instructed in the Bible and in the Christian religion and under the direction of proper trustees. Oh man, I'm so glad I read this shit. Let's go back. You want to think it ain't going on? He received his bachelor's degree in the religion of a minor of Christian education. He continues his studies at the University of Oklahoma. You better continue your studies. in Southwestern Theological Seminary of Fort Worth, Texas. Dr. Booker is currently enrolled at Fuller Theological Seminary of Pasadena, California. We're figuring out all the schools where the Lord is going to call you from. Well, he called them before that. No, we figured out all the schools they send you to after they call you. I'm sorry. After you get called, this is where you get sent for your education. He got called before then. That's why I wanted to figure out what his age was in 1985, because I wanted to know if he had went through, man, what in 1986 at the age in 1986 wanted to be a minister. Booker at the age of 23 was installed as senior pastor at the age of 23 in 1986. So 1981, 5 years before that, he'd have been what, 18? 18? Okay, so think about this. By 23, he was that. Yeah, in college as a frat boy, which will go down below. That's where he got his Lord's call. Mm-hmm. And right at 23, after you get out of your educational training of Christian religions, they appoint you as a pastor, following it to the T. He said he's just 6 years older than me. Again, you need to watch Kenneth Oden's report on the mega churches your Lord has identified. I do, and man, you know what? Because I know she done probably put out some amazing information. I've seen her stuff on Camel and some other stuff. Um, but I don't know how I feel about her still as a person, but still, I seen her put out that the Camel stuff. I just say that, and I don't even know. I didn't really check into the stuff, so I don't want to say it was amazing. She pulled up a lot of documents, and I saw a lot of stuff. I need to do my own due diligence, right? But yeah. No, this is wild. This is wild. These are connections, and this is wild. So these are the places he got, and so after he got taught in the Christian religion, after going to school, being being a frat, says in 1986, after 1 year of being the associate minister to the late Reverend V.H. McCowan, Dr. Booker, at age 23, was installed as the 11th senior pastor of the Union Baptist Church in Oklahoma City. Luckily, it wasn't Unity. That's mine. But I know Union. He proudly served as senior pastor of Union Baptist Church for 33 years because of his unwavering efforts and leadership. And membership has grown exponentially in spirituality through his powerful preaching and teaching of God's word. Dr. Booker is a firm believer in giving back to the community. You know what happened when you didn't go to church on Sunday back then? Yeah, it ain't the same, but still, when you forfeit your shit, where is it at? It would go to the poor. When you forfeited your shit, is right here in the red, in the middle. I can't zoom in. Right where you see that half to the poor right there, half to the poor. I don't want to go back and click my little whatever. And dressing to meet the families. Oh yeah, he likes to do that. His lords told him to do that. He does what the Palatine said he should. Wild. Wild. Let me go back. Oh yeah, so he established it back community. He's a firm believer in giving back to the community. He established the Booker Scholarship, as well as several outreach community-based ministries and measures to seek to build up the people and the community. Dr. Booker is an alumnus of Bishop College, a member of the Baptist Ministers Association of Oklahoma City, and the National Baptist USA Incorporated State of Local Associations. Reverend Booker has been granted opportunities to service in the following capacities: grant guest lecturer of the Oklahoma Baptist State Congress of Christian Education, Oklahoma Baptist State Congress like a political Congress of Christian Education. Huh. Guest lecturer at the East Zion Consolidated District Congress of Christian Education. Guest speaker in the National Baptist Convention. This is really like modern day mission work to erase your Indian and keep you down. Indian heritage and keep you down. Guest speaker at the National Baptist Convention. I remember going to the National Baptist Conventions. I thought it was just a fun place to go to. There's a lot of children our age. We having fun, buying stuff from vendors and all that shit. Served as a president of the East Zion Consolidated District Association, pastors, ministers, wives, and went with those conferences. Blah blah blah. But main thing too, Pastor Booker is also a member of the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. He is married to the Opal Shannon. He is the father of beautiful children. Blah blah blah. Okay, that read just I didn't mean for that to happen. Didn't know it was gonna happen. That read exactly. This nigga followed it to the T. He talked about how his ministry is helping to spread the gospel and no longer in foreign parts, just spread the gospel. Um, all kinds of stuff, man. That's wild. Peace. What's up, real Indian Chief? That's wild, y'all. That's wild, man. So I'm about to. Well, hold up. Yeah, or if anybody want to get up here for a little bit, I got a little bit of time. I'll let you come up, or if you don't, you don't have to. I just didn't know if I would have missed any multi guest because I don't be looking at that screen, which is why which is why the whole thing shut down on me earlier. Mm, sorry, I'm trying to think. Somebody asked me a question. Now I gotta. I'm trying to think on timing on something. Nah, I won't be. I won't be available for that. Let me see if the next day. Hold on, y'all. Nah, I could do it tomorrow though. I don't have any availability today, but I can get to it tomorrow. Um. Yeah. This was pretty explosive lives. All my live streams here since a certain point just have been hitting hard. To be honest, like the connections, the corruption we're finding, the proof to it all, the way it's playing down to the T, even in modern times. Wow, it really lets you know we are like one of those first generations fully breaking out. Not my generation, but like a cumulative generations of us during this time, like this age. We're in that age of like really figuring this out, and we stand on the backs from other people who's been figuring it out. Not that we the only ones. It's just like, damn, I don't know, man. It's wild. It's wild. So yeah, no, I appreciate everybody being up in here this morning for this whole time. Says you found the receipts to make it clear. Exactly. What it do, kid folk? What up, Shad? You leaving after my you just getting here. I'm just leaving, man. It's we 3.5 hours in. and man, I basically tied Oklahoma's I gotta show Rashad this real quick. I basically tied this East Zion district back to the Royal Church of England, the Palatine, just by looking through the words. And in fact, by looking through the words too, we didn't know Zion was an old Indian name, a name for the Anasazi and the Paiutes. So when they said East Zion, and we connected that because I was like, okay, in that one newspaper, when the vestrymen, when they started setting up the districts for the vestrymen over each parish, they named each parish after Indian names: Chowan Precinct, Pasquotank Precinct, and this and that. And I was like, no, surely, but I know I was like, well, surely, I was like, well, precinct might mean district, right? And then I looked up what a precinct was. We was etymology, on the etymology game. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Figured out what a precinct meant. We looked up vestry and all that. But long story short, now when you come back, it's like, man, this is telling you what they doing, like in your face. Like it's the east area of Oklahoma County where the Paiute or Anasazi Indian area is, and the district is the Lord's jurisdiction over it. So this is the Lord's jurisdiction over the Paiute and or Anasazi Indians on the east part of Oklahoma County consolidated with other districts of the same, other the west one and the other ones who take over other Indians, as one association or a body of people who come together for one service, which is the mission. And what is the mission? Well, it's the voluntary mission, or the mission of changing out of erasing the Indians through education of Christianity. And it is voluntarily done on their website. They're saying these people freely and voluntarily. I was like, man, these people keep talking about these people are autonomous, these people free to do what they want to, they want to do what they want to, but this is what they want to do. But then we also connect that back to that's what it told us here. They asked the members to voluntarily contribute money for the cause of educating people to the schoolhouses. You've always funded your own demise via a country born Negro who was born a country born Negro, born amongst the Negro and Indian slaves, right? Who was called and caused them to be instructed in the Christian faith. And then we look at his bio, Mr. Booker, who's the main person over the East Zion district. He was called by and look at this. He accepted his ministry in 1981. He accepted the call, and I said, who called him? The Lord. Who's the Lord? You think is God, the Most High. No, who called him when he was a frat boy? Some of the proprietors, the esquires. Or who were the proprietors? The people who set up these districts. Who set up these districts? The Palatine, the Lord's proprietors. Who called your pastor to the pulpit? He tells you every time, the Lord. Every time he tells you right. Said feudal lord, the feudal lords. Ooh. And what does feudal mean again? As we talked about the family feuds. Feudal. Pertaining to feuds, estates, or land grants by a superior on the condition of services to be rendered by the grantor. The lords, they call the pastor to the pulpit, are the ones that granted land to people as long as they could get baptismal records through the pastor in order to get services rendered from the grantor so they can get money off of that as well, right? Those lords are getting money off of the work, a share of the crop that y'all did, the apprentices did at the time of what y'all do today and get work. The feudal lords called the frat boy who went to who answered the call in around the time between 5 years before then, which would have meant he was 18, which would have meant he was out of high school, and which tells you right here he graduated, got his high school, whatever, and then he accepted his call, which means he was in college as a frat boy, which of course it tells you right here he's a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha fraternity. So when did the Lord call him? Funny how the Lord didn't call him before he went to college. Funny how the Lord didn't call him. He didn't call him even after college. Didn't it called you in college, Mr. Booker? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have a let's put this together. We want to purchase you, purchase some country born Negro. We would like to pay you some money there, Mr. Booker. We just need you to do some instruction a little bit further into this Christianity thing. Oh, okay. So after that, Mr. Booker, uh, after he accepted the call, okay, from the Lord, knowing and accepting it was his lifelong endeavor, said he been waiting for this his whole life. He says then he started to receive his education in the Christian faith. Causing them to be instructed by the Bible and then employing them as proper under the direction of proper trustees. Who are those trustees? Those feudal lords or the feudal lords and the Grand Assembly, but employing them as schoolmasters. So the feudal lords that employ him, the people, the pastors make schools of your children, make schools for your children before current day schools, would get government backed loans, or the lords would get those government backed loans and the land grant, estates land granted by superior condition. Or I'm gonna have to double check who gets the loans. Was it the lord that gets the loans, or is the church warden? I don't think it's the church warden though. But I'm gonna check double check that. But yeah, no, this shit is wild, dude. Said, man, it's so clear, so clear, so clear. Like you can go up to a reverend and just spit this shit off to him. He'll be he'll be mortified. What? This nigga done said my whole. How'd you know, nigga? This nigga's somebody get this nigga out of here. This niggas is learning too much. Benefice is the etymology of feudal. Look up benefice. Oh yeah, yeah, we went through that. You said it's a church living, church office endowed with a revenue, and directly from Latin, a favor of service, generosity, kindness, benefit. A church living, church office endowed with a revenue, which would be the same revenue they said here. But whereas the said colony have no other fund to pay for the enslavement of your youth and baptismal records and tying them to the system, if you ain't got a way to pay for it, the voluntary contributions of the pious and disposed Christians, they are not without hopes of charitable assistance in such parts towards it. They will pay for it. They will be your church living, your church office body, or they would be the one that's creating the revenue. Is the church living office endowed with a revenue? They're the ones that's giving the revenue. Goodwill and doing alone. So yeah. Yep, benefice. And that's exactly what I think, a beneficiary. Now when we look it up, beneficiary. One who receives profits or advantages. What do I got tomorrow? What do I got tomorrow? For do you want this for tomorrow? Question mark. Um, I'm gonna have to get off here pretty quick. Enjoying the favorite privilege service beneficiary. Um, so yeah, the benefice in the church. Yeah, man. Like by the time, and y'all, hopefully y'all got the screenshots ready, because if you say all this and you if you say all this and you don't have the stuff to back it up, these and you only need we only need these couple of different documents. Y'all can always screenshot everything I show you. Show that shit to the pastor. Fuck them up real quick, and your family members. They still won't trust you. It's just like FBA. They won't fuck with us. They'll still think I'm crazy. Beneficiary in trust law is an individual or entity, such as a charity, designed to receive income. Oh, I get what you're saying. That's where the 501c3 comes into place. They get a 501c3, making them the beneficiary over the income that's coming in. 501c3 is charity and churches. 501. Sorry, y'all. A beneficiary of an individual or entity legally designed to receive assets, income, or advantages. Wow, when you say it like that, and the 501c3 gets you, puts you into a beneficiary mode. And I always say, oh, it just makes you ain't got to pay taxes. This is a little legal process. It literally puts you as an individual entity designated to receive those things. So when you start receiving those and you get it together, you're gonna follow this. But yeah, that's wild. And don't get me wrong, that it could be done for other senses, right? I could do a 501c3, call it nigga Indians on the come up, right? And niggas, we start throwing money at it, and we utilize it for our purposes. And I mean, we should be able to do the same, to be honest. But we so stuck into a system that we voluntarily put ourselves into, through that we were forced into it, set the chains, and then kind of set it and forget it, and we just religiously now are stuck into that. We're stuck into that, and still are in mass as we start to come up out of it. So I got to get up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Much love to y'all being up in here. YouTube, sorry I've been missing comments over there because I was trying to stay looking at the TikTok screen for a bit because I didn't want that bitch to shut down again. But okay, y'all seen it. Y'all just been kind of in there going in. Looks like all the FBA's left. I'm not surprised. Them niggas ain't here for no information. You ain't clowning no Africans. Why am I in here? I'm trying to hear you say bussy talk to one of them immigrant Caribbeans. Let me hear more about how red his bussy is. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Dumbass niggas. Dumbass niggas, y'all. So yeah, man. People are crazy. A name beneficiary often has more power and direct control over inherited lands and legal. And it makes sense because now I was putting it together in my head. How does a beneficiary and work within life insurance? But it's putting a person over the estate and property of a person that just passed. And you typically don't put nobody over your estate and property like that unless you do pass or do like a power of attorney or something like that. So for it to happen this way, this is a voluntarily, this is you voluntarily allowing them to be your beneficiary, and you go along with the practice. Wow. I'm gonna tell my mom. I don't even know if I'll explain this to my mom, man. Some of these people you just want to let them go ahead and finish off with what they got. You just gonna make you upset, you know. And doing all that ain't. Do I want to be upset too? Have us sit here fight with each other, man. But my mom is real good at getting a lot of this information when I tell her. But for it going against so hard of what, like, she used to date the pastor for a lot of years. Okay, and she's the secretary. Um, so I was about to say, you know what? Because she dated the pastor, and they don't date no more. My dad and her wasn't together when I was young. Like, I think when I was like I was still a baby, infant when they split. Actually, like, according to them, I just found that out 3-4 months. But and then I had a stepdad for a while till age 9, and then they split up, and then my dad came back into my life. But him and my mom never talk like that, really. But here in my late life now, they done got back together. Been together the last 3-4 years or whatever, man, and making things work. And I ain't mad at it. They doing their thing. But um, I say that to say, what was I saying, man? Oh, she just may be mad enough at the pastor after they done went through a breakup where she might pay attention to some of this shit. That's what I wanted to say. That's the whole reason I had to tell that backstory. Yeah, she might be inclined to be like, you know what? Fuck the church, bitch ass church. Shit, I knew them niggas wasn't no good. I mean, the church wasn't no good. I think you got a personal vendetta. You kind of. I knew them niggas wasn't no good. Ah, shit, man. If there's one thing I can do, man, I love to make y'all laugh, man. I love when I say some shit and see y'all put the laugh. It's one thing to laugh because we'll laugh at shit. But you know you really laughing when you throw the emojis in that bitch. Man, let me tell this nigga I'm laughing, nigga. Shit. Cause I do it too. I be like, hold on. Y'all know if I'm on a live stream, I have to unmute myself so you know I'm laughing at that shit. So I appreciate the feedback, man. He said the best medicine. It damn sure is, man. We learning, we deep diving, we finding out some really cruel history. Really, really cruel history and how it plays on the current. And the way that we could get through this and really keep it fresh, and y'all stick in here with me almost 4 hours, man. That's wild. I appreciate y'all. Much love. Yeah, 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 exactly. Humor. And if you missed this on TikTok, you can go back and watch the replay on either YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. Ain't nobody watching on Facebook. No, but you can watch it back on any one of those. And now I'm about to get off here and listen to this voice message that this girl left me from last night and reply several hours later. Uh, and continue that going. Cause all that stuff about me being sassy and bussy and all that. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, sir. In fact, like, I want to say something. I just hate with somebody. Let me see who all up in here. Okay, I think let me just shut up. I'm gonna just shut up. But because it's just like for somebody to sit there and say something like that, I'm like, you don't even know what I really got going on this phone right now. You know what I'm saying? And it happened right at the same time that shit happened.
such and such happened, and then such and such happened. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully you can read between the lines. It's like, man, no, I know I'm more than whatever. So read between the lines, so I ain't gotta say it. But yeah, no, I'm good, and don't have to prove myself to nobody, man. But I always will because I my whole thing in life is about proving. But I don't want to keep saying crazy stuff. Well, I mean, it ain't nothing crazy. I done told y'all several times on here that I talk to multiple people. You know what I'm saying? I done said that many times. You know what I'm saying? This person is new though, and I haven't told them that yet. I don't even know if they was, I don't want y'all to tell them before I tell them. That's what I was getting to, because basically, like when that person hit me up, it was like, "Can you come pick me up tonight?" Then one of my people that I already talked to hit me up. Are you free? I'm trying to come over right now. I think I'm gonna be busy. Somebody's getting priority today. God damn it! Who's getting priority? The new one. You gonna still be here? I'm just playing. She's not in here. Don't say nothing. She ain't gonna watch this 4 hours. Okay. But I'm just saying, nigga, call me all that shit, and why I'm listening to that on live stream, that happens on my phone, right? And I'm just like, you think I'm gonna really sit here and be upset with what you're saying? Oh, your bussy this, you're gay this, oh, you're sassy, you're this, and you've been sitting here looking and touching on yourself, thinking about Tyree. Nah, trying to touch on something else over here though. I'm trying to touch on some things. I'm trying to touch on some women. I'm trying to touch, but you, hell no. Man, come on. The fact that you would even get thoughts like that in your head and verbalize that after they came out of your spiritual mind shows me where your spirit is. That shows me where your spirit's at, man. Unless a nigga done came at you some weird way, you know what I'm saying? Then you say that. And even if I can even understand you saying it if the man is already of of that lifestyle. Even though that's an easy go to if you're trying to clown, how about you try something harder? That's what she said. See, that's how I joke. I said if you should try something harder. That's what she said. I don't say I don't say bussy stuff. Like that's not what's going through my head, man. I told y'all that last night, man. I told y'all that shit last night. He said only said that because your voice squeaked. I knew he was going to go there with it. Lie. No, I ain't gonna lie. And that's how my voice is. I hear it all the time. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to really sit here and control the dynamics of my voice and not be as excited with my tones and stuff like that, I can continuously talk like this and keep my voice at a whatever pace, and I can try to make sure the tones don't go up too high or go down too low. Because I can go low, low, low. I can go high, high, whatever, but as I go through it, as I be my normal dynamic self, it's gonna crack. Who cares? Right? It's just BS. We should be surprised. We should be surprised about none of the shit he said. Yeah, he said ain't surprised by none of it. I think it was projecting. People be projecting like, no, that's real. That's real. No matter how much he said he got a wife and all that, I don't know what your wife let you do. Shit. Yeah, shit. You could tell what just you watching all my content and my live streams when I do talk about these subjects. You can tell. You can tell. What I would do. Well, I forgot what I would do with women. Whatever I was saying. I forgot what I was saying. I got the text message and lost my train of thought. So let me get off that anyway, man. But yeah, Tariq definitely projects a lot. Him. Oh yeah. I said yeah. That's what I said because I was saying I don't know what his wife let him do, and I was like, you already know I ain't asking nobody. No, I tell you what I do. So I go deep detail, and that's what I do too. I give a deep detail. But okay. I'm gonna give you that deep detail. But I'm gonna end it there, man. I love y'all. He got me questioning his manhood for real. Cause you hear this is how I joke. Okay. It's gonna make the women laugh and maybe blush a little bit. And someone be like, quit saying all that, Samuel. But you know that's what it is, guy. You know that's what it is. But okay. So yeah, I'm gonna get off here, man. Love y'all. It's 11:05. I'm gonna really be late. But I feel appreciate y'all. We might come back on here later when I get done with all my little daily. So I'll fuck with y'all later.